Make sure it's in the. What?
Make sure it's in the what?
Cloud.
The cloud. This part I have never done.
I'm offering to do it if you want me to.
Well, I think it might be better because
Listen, I'll do it.
otherwise you're going to keep doing it. Because I just said, make sure it's in the cloud and see a little thing in the cloud that says recording.
Okay.
Okay. See here?
Okay, everyone, welcome to the Committee Board 3 SLA Committee. Sorry about the delay in getting started here. We were finishing up a previous meeting and getting some logistics worked out. Tonight, we have a few items that have withdrawn, so I will go through those. If you are here for those items, they may come back at another time, but they are not going to be heard this evening. Item number 5 was Cafeteria Brunello, 133 Ludlow Restaurant, LLC. It's 98 Remington Street. Number 7, AYS Libations at 122 St. Mark's Place. Number 11, Moco at 214 East 9th Street. Number 12, Mad Hops at 216 Avenue A. And number 13, Calico at 251 Broome Street. Those items have withdrawn. If you are here for those, please check the calendar in the future. They may come back. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and give a little brief description of how the meeting is going to run, and then we're going to start the meeting. So each item is going to be brought up. I'm going to give a brief summary of the item. We will then give the applicants a chance to respond, explain, clarify anything that I explained or missed. We will then go to the public and give the public a chance to ask any questions or submit any comments. We'll move to committee for discussion, and then we'll move to a committee vote. So that being said, I'm going to start the meeting by taking a roll call and a vote on last month's meeting. Sarah Bachu.
Present.
David Crane.
Here.
Michael Lavario. Amanda Liu. And John Powell.
Present.
And Clint Smeltzer present. Okay. So we do have a process as well where we take a few items that as expedited items tonight, and these items, it's a new process that we started. It's worked pretty well for us. We give a very brief summary. These are items we've received no comments from the public. We don't have any problems with the applicant or the location. So we give a very brief summary, move it to a committee vote, and we move on. So the first item that we are going to take tonight is the Phoenix, which is 447 East 13th Street. Are the applicants here for the Phoenix 447 East 13th Street? If you're in the Zoom, please raise your Zoom hand.
It's Michael Kelly.
And we'll promote you.
Okay, promoted you, Michael. You have to accept it. And is the applicant here? And on Zoom?
Is the applicant here on Zoom?
Okay.
Please raise your
I
hand.
see.
Okay, yeah, Garrett is the applicant.
Okay, Garrett, you have to accept it. Okay.
Michael Kelly, Garrett, can you hear us? Everything's good on that end?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So this is basically a sale of assets to he's been a bar manager and a bartender at this location for about, I know they've been there since 2011, and I think he's been there almost this entire time. He is keeping the applicant is keeping the same hours operation, same method of operation, everything as the previous approved method of operation. And we've had no complaints about them. There have been no issues. We've heard nothing from any members of the public. So being that it's keeping exactly the same as the existing business, does anyone on the committee have any questions about this or any issues with Phoenix at 447 East 13th Street? Okay. Michael, Garrett, do you have anything quickly to add to that?
Garrett's been managing there for 5 years and been there since it opened, and everything's staying the same. That's it.
Okay, that being said, so there was a slight glitch and I do not have the stipulation form completed for that item. But being that it's kept exactly the same and we have your application, I will finish this after the meeting and then send it over to you. You can review and then send it back to the office if there are any issues. Is that acceptable to you? I apologize for that
Yes,
This- glitch, but
not a problem.
okay. I mean, it's basically going to be exactly what you put in your application, which is exactly the method of operation currently. So I don't think there's anything really to discuss. Okay, thank you for being flexible on that. So we're going to move to a vote. Sarah Batchu,
Yes.
David Crane,
Yes,
Michael Lavario, Clint Smeltzer, yes, and John Fauci.
Yes.
A motion passes. Michael, we will send over, the office will send that over within the next day or so, and you can have it notarized and get it back to the office then.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The second item we are going to do as an expedited item is number 15, which is Fraudo Incorporated, 218 East 14th Street. Are the applicants here for Fraudo at 218 East 14th Street? If you are on Zoom, please raise your Zoom hand as well. We will promote you.
Okay, promoting Merrick Schwint. We decline. So Merrick, you can't decline and still be able to be presented.
Okay, you have your hand raised. You just have to accept the invitation to be promoted. Merrick?
Okay, you have to accept, you can't decline.
if you're like me, it's the other red button.
Okay, he's now doing it. There you go.
Okay,
Well, there was a choice between accept as a panelist or attendee, nothing to decline or accept. So I chose attendee, but I guess panelist was the way to go.
Fine.
okay, so I'm gonna give, as you heard, I'm gonna give just a really quick summary of this application, and then we will quickly discuss as a committee. You can add anything if there's anything that's different or changed or clarified, and then we will move to a vote. And unless if you're here from the public as well, please raise your hand, but we have heard nothing previously from the public for this item. This is an application for a full on-premise liquor license on 14th Street. It's 218 East 14th Street between 2nd and 3rd. This is an Asian fusion restaurant. It is currently an unlicensed location. We would normally not consider this as an expedited item. However, our community board guidance is that we are encouraging these type of businesses to be on the main arteries such as 14th Street, et cetera. It's like a very commercial area. It will have very little impact on any residents. So that is the reason we were considering this as an expedited item. The hours, and it's also because they are also very reasonable hours, basically 11:30 to 10:30 all days. And otherwise, it is all of our standard stipulations, closing all the doors and windows at 10 p.m., ambient background recorded music only. They're not using pub crawls, they will not have happy hours, they will ensure there's no wait lines, and they will post the stipulations. Do you have anything else to add to that, Merrick?
Yes, there is the applicant actually. Richard has a original restaurant within Community Board 3 boundaries on.
You got the applicant? Sorry, apologize for that.
Yes, the applicant, Richard, the owner of the business, has an original location within your boundaries.
So is the applicant not here?
It should be on Zoom. I resent.
If you are here, please raise your Zoom hand and we will promote you.
Richard,
It is required that the applicant actually, okay, he's raised his hand.
Okay.
Good, good. That's a good thing. Yes, and well, as you started to say, I did gloss over that point, but the applicant does have another location in Community Ward 3. He's been operating for a little under a year, but has had no issues, and it is a legit restaurant. So that also factors into the fact that we have put it as an expedited item.
Right, that restaurant has been, the original location has been opened for about 5 years. It was licensed much later, but the original location has been licensed for about a year with no problems. Similar menu, similar closing hours. Yeah, no issues whatsoever.
Okay.
Great history.
And Richard, as the applicant, I think you've heard, we're taking this as an expedited item. Unless you have anything extremely that would change the whole discussion, do you have anything else to add to that? You can unmute yourself and speak if you would like. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Anything to comment before we move to committee and a vote?
So it we basically we're doing a brunch style, so it's mostly cocktail. No, not we're not like a real bar.
Yes. Okay. So the one other thing, the district manager, Susan Stetzer, did want to just make one comment on this item.
So, Merrick, were you the representative that sent in the notification for this?
Yes, we sent it in.
And you sent it in when?
You have received, Nikki from my office did that. I don't have it in front of me, but I know she was emailing back and forth with you guys.
When did you first send this in? How many months ago?
It's been a while. It's been a while. I don't have it in front of me.
So we never received it. If you had tracked, you never got a to return receipt. If you had tracked it, you would see it's still up for delivery since July. And you never came to us, you never followed up. You went to the SLA and you tried to appear without coming to the community board. I
have no reason to circumvent anything, okay? Because you haven't received it, it's not my fault. I mean, you try to throw blame at us for no reason.
If I could finish. So the SLA notified us of the 500-foot hearing, and we said, what are you talking about? They've never come before us. So we tried to put the 500-foot hearing on hold. We weren't able to do that, but we held up the decision. I had to go to the chair of the SLA to get this 500-foot hearing decision stopped. And you should have followed up. You've met with us before. When you didn't hear from us, you should not have gone to the SLA without coming to the community board. So you've done it. I'm saying for everyone, please don't do that. It's not going to go through. You know, the SLA will always notify us, but it took a great deal of effort and I had to involve the chair. So I'm just saying, please don't do that again.
Okay.
All yours.
Okay, so other than that, I don't think does any other committee members have any questions or comments for this item? No. Okay, so that being said, we are going to move to a vote. Sarah Batchu? Yes. David Crane?
Yes.
Clint Meltzer, yes. John Powell? Yes. Okay. So we will be sending out the stipulations to you. You'll receive them within the next day or so. They will have instructions. You just get them notarized and returned to the office, and you'll be set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So this has the stipulation forms on.
Sarah, stipulation forms?
Yeah, it's still working.
Well, so if you just want to do, while you're, because I was going to put the other ones up.
Okay, so you're saying do them now, doing the resolution.
Don't even worry about the resolution. Sorry, we're,
Sorry, too many things.
if you just want to do a stip form for number
Okay.
121, 123, same mark. Do the stip form for that, and we'll get to the
Teamwork makes the dream work. Let's go.
Okay, so those are the two expedited items. The rest of the items, we're gonna spend a little more time on each item. There'll be a little bit more discussion. We'll open it up to public. They're a little bit more complicated, but not necessarily difficult. So that being said, I think we have,
What are you looking for?
I was just looking to see the attendees. So generally, we tend to take items. I know there are a couple people here for number 6. If you're here for number 6, please raise your Zoom hand.
No, we have yours.
Gotcha, Patrick. Please raise your Zoom hand in Zoom if you are here for number 6.
Are here for, or are the applicant and
No, we're
representative?
talking about
The
community.
applicant representative, I think, is
Okay.
here.
Okay, that's it, never mind.
She's trying to take ones with a lot of speakers.
But I don't know that there. are.
No, it doesn't look like there is.
Okay. And so the other ones, I don't think there's anything. Okay. So I don't see people. Will give them a chance, I guess, if they're gonna show up. So we'll start in order. We're gonna start with 86 East 4th Street. Yes, the applicant here for 86 East 4th Street.
Stand up.
Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna give a brief summary. We do have, Susan, where's the hand mics?
Could you, yeah, could you get them
Just
there?
grab from Susan's desk behind you, sorry about that. It's all part of the process tonight,
Yeah, we're testing people.
Hello? For you or for me?
for you.
Oh, okay.
We have mics over here, so.
Right, it's just for the recording, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not thinking about this.
Okay, so this is 86 East, an application for 86 East 4th Street. It is a full on-premises license in the premises which is located on East 4th Street between 1st and 2nd Avenue. It's an application for a bar tavern with occupancy of 74 people, 21 tables and 42 seats, one 13-foot bar with 12 seats. It has less than a full-service kitchen serving food all hours, no televisions, and recorded music at background level. There are 28 full on-premises licenses within 500 feet. This location has been previously licensed as the Boiler Room since 1993. This applicant currently holds 3 licenses and has held three or four other previous licenses starting in 2008, several in the Community 3. We received no, I don't know, we'll check in a second if there's anyone here, but we received no emails or correspondence prior to the meeting in support or against this item. 64 residents who live within 2 blocks of the location signed a petition in favor. And basically they are keeping it exactly the same as the Boiler Room. I don't think they're actually changing anything. Is that correct?
That's right.
So, that being said, I can turn it over to the applicants to correct anything, add anything that I missed.
Sure thing, I am gonna stand, I just can't do these sitting down. Thank you, Clint, Max Bookman, Pizetsky and Bookman, PC, I'm an attorney. Behind me is John Nedick, and Craig Atlas. John's the CEO of Golden Age Hospitality, which, as Clint said, has several on-premises liquor licenses. They're all below 14th Street. Craig is his partner on this project, and he's an experienced manager and operator. It's nice to be before you in person again. Our firm routinely appears before your board. This is the first time I'm here since COVID. I see some new faces since then, some very familiar faces. So as Clint said, it's the Boiler Room space, been there for so long that it's predates the 500-foot law. One thing that's new is that there's going to be a purchase of assets here. No, sorry, I just want to make sure you heard that they're going to be purchasing assets here. That was new, that wasn't in the materials. But that was worked out with the Boiler Room folks before the meeting. And as Clint said, it's the same method of operation. So typically when you have a purchase of assets or the build of a business that's been in operation for longer than the 500-foot law, it's pretty common to keep the same method of operation. And that's what we're proposing here. And of the petition signatures that Clint mentioned, 12 of them are from folks who live in the building. There were 3 people in the building who didn't sign, 2 because they don't sign these things, and 1 because they were in a hurry on their way out. Happy to answer questions.
Okay. Well, that being, we'll move to the public in case there are any. Is there anyone here in the audience to speak to this item? No one signed up, so is there anyone on the Zoom? Please raise your Zoom hand if you are here to speak to 86 East 4th Street. Seeing none, does anyone from the committee have any questions for the applicant or any questions or comments about this item at all? Susan?
I just want to say it's, even though it's on the avenue or very close, it's very there's big residents across, above, next to. So I just want to be aware, to be careful. There haven't been problems, so we know it's not necessary to have problems.
Thank you. Noted.
Anyone else? Okay, so that being said, we're gonna go ahead and share this stipulation form on the screen. And I'm gonna read through it quickly just to make sure we're all in agreement with everything. Are you sharing? Share screen. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we should be seeing, there we go, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna just read through. It's I, Craig Atlas, as a qualified representative, 8060 4th Street LLC, agrees to the following stipulations. My license type is a full liquor OP license, will operate a bar tavern with less than a full service kitchen serving food during all hours of operation. And I can bump that up a little bit, Max, I see.
Yeah, that's it.
So let's go in. Said it increased, but it doesn't look like it's doing it.
I'll just get a little
But-
closer.
Yeah. So their hours of operation will be 5 p.m. to 4 a.m. all days. You will close all outdoor dining under the temporary open restaurants program and any other outdoor uses by 10 p.m. You will employ 1 security personnel. You will install soundproofing. And you will have a closed fixed facade with no open doors or windows except your entrance door, which will close by 10 p.m. or when any amplified music is playing. I did have a quick question about that. I know currently they do have their windows open. Are you keeping those?
Are you gonna change the windows at all? Are you gonna do construction on the windows, change them?
Their windows are open?
The windows, they do open.
Operable. You said they're operable windows?
Yes.
We would like to keep.
So then we're gonna change that from, because you had checked off, I will have a closed fixed facade, which means it's
Yeah.
Oh,
so-
sorry, we thought that was like when you have,
French doors or
Not
French
French doors.
no, it's any type of opening windows. So I'm gonna change that from I will have a closed fixed facade to I will close any front or rear doors and windows at 10 p.m.
Great.
So if you do open those windows, you are allowed, but they just have to be closed by 10 p.m.
No problem.
Or when you have amplified.
Or if there's any kind of amplified music playing, which I don't think you were proposing anyway, so it's not. So I will close any front doors or windows at 10 p.m. or any night when amplified sound is playing, included but not limited to DJs, live music, or live non-musical performances. I will not have DJs, live music, third-party promoted events, any event in which a cover fee is charged or scheduled performances. I will play ambient recorded background music only. I will not apply for an alteration to this method of operation without coming to CB3 first. I will not seek a change in class to, but it's already full, okay, so that's irrelevant. I will not participate in pub crawls or have party buses. I will not have unlimited drink specials, including boozy brunches. I will not have a happy hour or any drink specials without time restrictions. I will not have wait lines. I will have a staff person responsible for ensuring no loitering or crowds outside. I will post a stipulation by my liquor license. Residents may contact the owner at the owner or manager at the number below. And we have Craig Atlas at 917-502-2034. Does that all sound good? Do you
Yes,
agree with everything?
that's all in line with what we proposed with the one change that we made, and that we confirmed with them, and we are in agreement.
Okay. That being said, any clarifications for the committee? If not, we're going to move to a vote. Sarah Batchu,
Yes.
David Crane,
Yes.
Clint Smeltzer, yes. John Fout,
Yes.
motion passes. We will be sending out these stipulations to you within the next day or so and get them signed and notarized back to the office and we'll be good.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Oh, perfect. Let me just click save on this and then I'll hand it over to you.
We say the whole file on that.
I know, I'm hand saving here and then putting it back over. So
Yeah, but you're saving it here first.
I don't know.
There's a backup, you want to say?
If you want to keep using it, if you'll keep wanting to share screen, it's good to have it on there.
It is, it's good. She's just gonna put that one on there.
And then I'm gonna put it back, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just needs to try to avoid it.
Do it correctly.
Yeah, I didn't do it correctly because I was so confused.
This one seems to be okay.
We'll bring it back.
I know, We're good.
Okay. The next item we are going to take is 3 times. It's 90 to 96 Clinton Street. Is the applicant here for 3 times, 90 to 96 Clinton Street?
Tell me to raise his hand.
If you're in Zoom, I do not see you here in person. If you're in the Zoom, please raise your Zoom hand.
Okay.
Okay. Brian Kim. We are promoting you. Please accept the promotion to a panelist.
Are the other 2 people with you part of the application? Mark and Monstock, are they part of the application? Brian? I promoted the other 2, they have to accept it. Yeah.
Okay, so as we've done with the other items, I'm going to give a brief description and then we will allow you to have any chance to respond. We'll open up to the public, move on to the committee. So this is 3 times 90 Incorporated, doing business as 3 times, is seeking a full on-premises license in the premises located at 90 to 96 Clinton between Delancey and Rivington Street. It's an application for an establishment of 74 people with 15 tables and 14 seats indoors, 3 tables and 12 seats in a sidewalk cafe with a 13-foot bar with no seats. Full kitchen serving food during all hours of operation, 1 muted television and recorded music at background level. There are 14 full on-premises licenses within 500 feet. The applicant operates 3 restaurants called 3 times with wine and beer license. They've been operating the same 9096 Clinton since October 2018. Also one at 818 Broadway and CB2 since 2018, and 38 Water Street since October 2020. 11 residents who live within 2 blocks of this location signed a petition in favor. And their hours they are proposing are, well, their current hours are 4 p.m. All day is closed by 1 a.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 2 a.m. through Friday and Saturday. That seems to be the gist of their application. I'm going to hand it over to the applicants for any other additions, corrections, or clarifications to what I said. Brian, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hi, go ahead.
No, sorry. I misheard you guys. I'm here for another one, not this one. I'm sorry.
Oh, so okay, sorry, you're not here for this item.
No, I'm not here. Sorry. I'm sorry.
That's fine, no problem. Is there anyone here for 90 to 96 Clinton Street? 3 times that I just read a summary for? Okay. It appears that the applicant is not here for this item, so for now, we will check back in before we close, but for now, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to 97 St. Mark's LLC, which is at 97 St. Mark's Place. The applicant here for 97 St. Mark's.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anyone here from the public here on Zoom? Please raise your Zoom hand so we just are aware if you're here. Okay. Okay, Susan. Okay, so we'll get to you first, but I'm going to give a brief summary, and then we're going to allow the applicant to speak, and then we'll move to the public. So this is an application for 97 St. Mark's Place. They're seeking a wine and beer license in the premises located at 97 St. Mark's between First Avenue and Avenue A. It's an application for an establishment of 74 people with 12 tables and 36 seats, 1 14-foot bar, and the number of seats were not listed on there. Do you know offhand?
14.
14, with 14 seats.
It's on average.
It's with American Cafe food prepared in a full kitchen, serving food during all hours of operation. They're proposing live music, DJs, and recorded music at background levels. There are 32 full on-premises licenses within 500 feet. This location is currently licensed to Taberna 97 Incorporated, doing business as Lou's Cafe, with a beer wine license since 2015. The applicant has never been a license holder, but has 6 years of industry experience as a bartender. We received 1 letter of opposition from a local resident, and 41 residents who live within 2 blocks of location, including 2 in the same building, signed petition in favor. They are proposing hours of 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and closing by 12 a.m. Sunday to Tuesday and 2 a.m. Wednesday through Saturday. That is actually a slight reduction from what the current applicant has. They were 2 a.m. all nights. Other than that, they're planning everything the same except for they are adding live music and DJs, which is currently not on the existing license. Other than that, they are operating essentially the same as the current current establishment at this location. So, okay, I'm going to hand it over to the applicant or Frank. Do you have anything?
Just noting that we are purchasing the assets of Blue Sky Bank.
Sorry, I didn't mention there's a sale of assets to their team.
And that's it, that's all I have to say.
Okay. Do you have anything to add?
Not really.
Okay. You
Sorry.
No,
You really do need to use the mic because so everyone out there can hear you. It really, this text don't pick up.
You've heard from the other when we don't use the mic, Frank.
That's why you're here in person, because you.
You've heard when Susan,
I missed you.
when Susan talks, she doesn't use the mic when you've heard her, so that's why you need to use the mic.
Do you know how to turn it
I don't
on?
think I need to repeat myself, it's sell assets.
No, you don't need to repeat yourself now. I'm just saying for the future, that is why you do these. Okay, so
You want to speak up?
This thing on? No,
It's not on?
No,
It is
I
on
think
for
it's,
the recording. It's not on for the room.
I got it.
I did it for you.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay,
Okay, so I do see we have one person. I think we had another person. We have Susan Starr. So we have Molly.
Molly accepted a panelist.
And then-
Susan did not accept, but I said she's allowed to talk
Okay.
as an attendee.
And then Laura Sewell. So we're gonna go ahead and start with, I guess, Molly, or I don't know if that's actually Molly, but
Doesn't look like.
you can
Molly.
unmute yourself and go ahead and speak.
Hi, I am Michael. Actually, my wife Molly is here. She's very pregnant. We know Russell very well for a long time. We think the restaurant would be a fantastic addition to the neighborhood.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Susan, we did unmute you. Susan, I think you're now in the meeting, so go ahead and speak. You're unmuted, it looks like.
Yes. I just want to make sure with DJs and live music that people and doors and windows in the back of the building are not open, because I live in the back of a building and had it round and round with a bar that was right next to my bedroom. And I mean, I did go over and speak with them, because I'm not against these small businesses. I just want to be able to sleep at night. So they did add some soundproofing and kept the doors closed and stuff like that. So I just want to make sure that the people in the back of the building are not going to be disturbed by this music.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Yeah, well, we're gonna take all the public and we'll give you a chance to respond and say go back and forth. So I see Laura Sewell. If you want to go ahead and speak, Laura.
Yes, thank you. It's Laura Sewell. I'm the director of the East Village Community Coalition. We don't have a problem with, I know this is a sale of assets, and we certainly don't have a problem with a longtime operator selling his business. Appreciate the earlier hours, but we don't feel it's appropriate to add live music or DJs, mid-block on a residential side street at all. And especially because this applicant's prior experience, from what we read on the application, is having bartended in 1998 on the Lower East Side. So it's great that there's local experience, but that was a long time ago. And considering that this is St. Mark's and all the issues and problems we've had on the block with noise and crowd and congestion, I just don't find it appropriate to add that at all. I think we should start off with just a restaurant. Thanks for the opportunity to speak.
Okay, thank you, Laura. I do think it looks like there's one other person. Is there a new person with their hand up?
Yeah. I know, it's Molly again. It's the same person.
Okay. So, Molly, or I think, was your hand just raised from before? Did you have something else you wanted to say quickly? Oh, you're muted, but this is actually Molly.
Sorry, I was just gonna add that I would share the same concerns, but just knowing Russell, we know him through the Little Mish school community. He's also the dad to a young toddler. It just wouldn't be, I understand what you're saying. We live on 7th Street. We'd have similar concerns depending on the establishment, but everything that we know about what this establishment will be doesn't concern me in terms of noise. And he has a lot of experience in the nightlife realm. I mean, I know you're going back to 1998, but everything that we know of Russell, I mean, he still has some level of involvement. So it's not like you're getting a newbie with no experience at all. And he's also just an amenable person. So you're not dealing with someone who's a pain. You know?
Okay, thank you, Molly. Okay, so I think that's it for the public. We'll give Russell a chance to respond.
For Susan and Laura, I just want them to know that the purpose of the DJ is not to have like a booming nightclub. It's that I just wanted to have somebody who's doing music live at dinner, so it would go through the same sound system that my whatever recording music would go through, just for the effect of having, oh, this person's here, you know, making music for us while we eat. And it's not for like, you know, we're not gonna be dancing or like that kind of music. And also, I'm not gonna put any speakers out in the outside area, and I'll close, you know, once, you know, I'll be closing the back doors and keeping it inside, just if that helps your concerns. And the other thing about the live music was I was thinking of having, like, if I was gonna do like a jazz brunch or something, because I didn't wanna not put it on the application, and if I was gonna have people playing music on the premises. But it's not like, also, we're not doing rock concerts or anything like that.
So we don't usually consider the first thing a DJ, right?
That's
Like
what I was gonna ask for
curated
clarification.
playlist.
Are you actually having, like, you're bringing a special person just to do the music, or is it just one of your staff people that?
I'm gonna have lists made that I'll play through the system, but I wanna rig the system that if, like, let's say I wanted to have somebody there live playing music, I could plug it into the system and they'll be putting the songs on live, but it would be the same type of volume.
She's not hiring a DJ to come in.
Yeah, it's not like, it would be somebody selecting the songs live, but they're not like it's not like a club, it's a DJ, yeah.
So you are gonna have, it's not just one of your staff people managing.
No.
It is a DJ coming in.
I mean, I don't have anybody, I wanted that option.
But you want the option that it would be, and you do have.
Let's say somebody had an event and they were like, oh, we would like this person to play the music, then they could come and play the music, but it'd be through the same exact system.
But that'd be for special event only.
Yeah.
And you do have listed on your application no more than 5 or 6 DJs per year. That's what you had on your application.
Yeah.
So you're not talking about DJs on a regular thing. It would be and you know, we would go for this, it would be 6. We don't do 5 or 6.
Okay.
6 per year. So, and you know,
The live music.
the live music is, I would like to discuss that a little more. Like, what are you, I know you said during brunch, or you thinking about having jazz? Would this be acoustic? Would this be a 2-piece? Would this be a singer and a keyboard? Would it be you know, 4-piece rock band? What are you
It won't be a
proposing?
rock band. It would probably, I mean, I would say either keyboard player and singer, or maybe like, you know, it could be like, that would have to be through the sound system, but then if it was just like stand-up bass and a guitar, probably on low, you know, like someone with one, you know, hi-hat, but you know, that vibe.
How wedded are you to the live music?
What's that?
How wedded are you to the live music?
We could sing about it right now.
Because I mean, I'm more willing to go with the DJs based on what you described. You're proposing 6 times a year. The live music, you know, my only issue with St. Mark's is a problem area. You're staying with essentially the same thing. I'm hesitant to expand. I am willing to go with the DJs for 6 times a year for special events. But if you want to get rid of the live music, I'm much more willing. I can deal with that. So, okay. Anyone else have any other questions from the committee?
Is there any soundproofing in the building? You plan to do any soundproofing or?
No, apparently is.
Apparently is.
But you read that they'll install some.
Yeah, you did have checked off on here. I
Yes,
think.
when we do the construction, if we expect what's there, obviously. And if we need to supplement, we will.
It wasn't checked off on the application.
Right, but that's normal. That's what you do.
Well, not always.
No.
Okay, so should we check off you will install soundproofing if needed?
If needed.
No, currently, there's a part that says, will be supplemented.
But it's currently, but we don't have DJs currently. So it's
But it
just,
is currently soundproofed. So what I'm saying is if we need to supplement it, we will.
No, we'll supplement soundproofing if needed.
so that's what we say, we'll install soundproofing if needed.
Supplement soundproofing.
It's an application.
That's not on the application, it's not checked off.
I'm sorry, but it's on your application. It's probably not checked off because I said no.
That, yes, you said no. That's why,
Right.
that's
So you get.
that's why I'm saying, should we check yes, you will
Supplement what-
you will install
Yes.
soundproofing if needed. That's what I'm saying, we'll put it on the stipulations if needed,
If needed.
yes. Not saying you have to do it, but.
No, understood.
Okay. Otherwise, you're keeping the same, I appreciate the reduction in hours, as we said earlier, so I don't have any other questions or comments. Anyone else from the committee?
There was the point about keeping make sure the back is closed. That sounded like the case was, is this something we want to try to address or?
Well, I think that's covered under closing all doors and windows.
Given that this DJ is gonna go through the background of the system, I don't think it's actually.
And you're still talking about, even with DJs, you're still talking about, with background level, you're not talking
Yes,
about
background.
club
level. This is
entertainment.
not club energy. This
So
is
we
background.
will put, and I'll show you, when we read through the stipulations, you'll see, we'll just say DJs will be at background level.
Yeah.
Just so that it's
Yeah,
clear.
people are eating and what like that.
That's what it sounded like what you're proposing, so it's not, you're through the.
Yeah, it's more about the visual of like, oh, this person's here selecting the songs than about like the loud,
Okay. Anyone else from the committee have any questions before we move to the stipulations?
We're settled on DJ over live. That's.
He agreed to get rid of the live music stuff. So yes, I'll share screen.
Oh,
There we go. Okay, Frank, do you wanna?
Yeah.
So you can see, for some reason, when I try to enlarge it, it shows it's enlarging on my, oh.
it just did, it just did.
There it goes. Okay, that's better. So, Russell Steinberg is a qualified representative of 97 St. Mark's, agrees to the following stipulations. Sorry, I'll reduce that. Will operate a full-service restaurant, specifically an American cafe, with kitchen and open serving food during the hours of operation. The hours of operation will be no later than 5 p.m. Monday to Friday and closing by 12 p.m. Sunday to Tuesday and 2 a.m. Wednesday through Saturday. And actually, that should be 5 p.m. all day. That's right.
No,
Wait,
we're opening on the weekends only.
sorry, it is, and that's missing on this. This is my fault because I did this one. It's no later than 5 p.m. Monday. That's why it says Monday through Friday.
Wait.
Closing by 12 a.m. Sunday to Thursday, 2 a.m. Wednesday through Saturday, and then it's opening. Just need to change it.
Do I need to step out of your way?
No, I can see it on the screen. You're good. You're fine, Frank.
5 p.m. to midnight.
And
Oh, okay.
and it's 11 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, correct?
Oh, are we open later on Fridays?
Is that closing or open?
So you're opening no later than 5 p.m. on Monday through Friday, and then 11 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Is that correct for opening hours?
Those are opening hours.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. And then closing by 12 a.m. Sunday through Tuesday and 2 a.m. Wednesday through Saturday. Okay. I missed the opening for Saturday and Sunday with that was. Okay. You will close all outdoor dining allowed under the temporary open restaurant program or any other outdoor uses by 10 p.m. and not have TVs or speakers. You're not having security, you're not. So this is what I was asking. So we'll install soundproofing if needed. So that it's not a requirement.
Supplemented as necessary is the word we use in other places.
So if we're saying supplemented as necessary, do we want to go as well as we've done in others and say to prevent noise in adjacent and nearby apartments?
Noise is not horrible. Turn it.
You were saying nearby apartments?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been a
We don't
problem.
really like that.
Yeah. Up south. Okay, so I will, now, do the windows in the back, were they mentioning that they open? Is that what they were saying?
I don't think she was talking about this spot.
I don't think it's important. So
Okay.
because I brought it up.
So is it a closed, you will have a closed fixed facade with no open doors or windows?
After 10.
No.
Well,
In general,
when there's
In
music.
the front,
so you do have windows that open, right?
in the front?
Yeah.
No, the front windows are solid, it's the door. The back has a door to get to the back, I mean, there's no.
Just a door, but there's no window, there's no other opening, like, there's no windows that you would leave open or French doors or anything else, right?
Oh, the doors they accordion.
Oh, so they are, so it does, not just a regular interstory.
But it's gonna be enclosed, the part of the garden that is adjacent to the restaurant, I'm gonna enclose also. So that actually those won't be, there'll always be a closed door.
that's not something we're doing now.
Are you?
Oh, okay.
You probably
You
shouldn't.
need to
mention
come back, you need to
Right,
come
we
back
need
when
to-
you do that.
Oh,
Should just,
well, it is, so it's built there, it was an improved structure out in the back of the thing, I just was thinking of putting like
We'll
a
close the back doors by 10.
canvas.
okay, so I'm gonna change this from, because I think you had checked off, I'll have a closed fixed facade, but it's, you will close any front or rear facade doors and windows at 10 PM every night when amplified sound is playing.
I didn't know about the back doors.
Wait.
I didn't know.
You didn't know
about
that.
the
Say accordion, sorry.
I didn't know.
But I mean, they also, I only use it, I guess.
Okay, so then this section, you will have DJs, live music, third-party promoted events, and any event in which a cover fee is charged. You will not have scheduled performances, and you will have no more than 6 DJs per year, or no more than 6 private parties per year. And our definition of private party is an entire buyout of the restaurant. So just, if you're having a birthday party in one section, that's not considered a private party for us, so. And then, so we're just gonna say,
Check off the 6 more than DJs. That
Yeah,
check mark
check.
is, got it.
and then I'm just gonna say DJs.
Nope.
Will be at ground level
In private parties only.
at private party. Okay,
Why do we make that addition?
well,
The private parties.
Because that's what.
because he said there would be no more than 6 per year,
Right, private parties.
and he had 6 DJs per year too.
Well, what if they're not the same night?
Oh, he said he wanted the DJs for the party.
He said, he did mention parties, but I
Right,
think
but-
we're confusing the two things.
Does he not want it or does he?
You can't, I'm gonna speak frankly, you can't put yourself into a hole where you only can have a DJ in a private party. If you want a DJ on a Friday night,
Right,
isn't that what you were thinking?
yeah.
So, I
That's
don't,
a random.
So is that DJ 6 times a year also?
Well, you did say
That's what we
DJs
said, yes.
6 days times per year.
yes.
So we're not saying, we're just gonna say, we're gonna take out, we're gonna say DJs will be at background level.
6 times per year.
Yeah,
It's 6 times
Look,
there.
yeah.
It's already more than 6 times, more than 6
Like, I
times, so.
might just have the regular music.
Okay, so that's fine.
And then I might want to do a special.
And then it is, so even your background music and your DJs are still gonna be anomaly on recorded background music only, so leaving that. Will not apply for an alteration without coming for CB3. Will not participate in pub crawls or party buses, will not have unlimited drink specials including boozy brunches. Will have a happy hour that will end by 7. Will not have wait lines, will have a staff person for ensuring no loitering. Will conspicuously post the stipulation by the license, and residents may contact the manager owner at the number below, and it's you listed at 323-899-3584. Okay, everything look good, Frank?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so that being said, we're gonna move to a committee vote. Sarah Batchu,
Yes.
David Crane,
Yes.
Clint Smeltzer, yes, John Powell.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Frank knows, but we'll be sending out the stipulations, get them notarized and back to us, and
I'm gonna clear the way.
okay. So the next item is Sing Sing 99 Stanton Street, number 6. The applicants are here for the, okay. Is there anyone on Zoom? Please raise your Zoom hand. Okay, I see one. Okay, there's several people here. I'm assuming most of this, is there anyone on Zoom that was with you as the applicant, or are they just members of the public? Okay, so same thing, I'm gonna give a brief description. And then we're gonna give the applicant a chance to respond, move to the public, and then back to the committee. Okay, Sing Sing LES Stanton Corporation is seeking a full on-premises license in the premises located at 99 Stanton Street between Ludlow and Orchard. This is an application for an establishment with a capacity of 155 people, 36 tables, and 124 seats, one stand-up bar, 24 feet 8 inches long on the second floor, a full kitchen serving food during all hours of operation, with 2 TV monitors and music from streaming services and playlists at background levels. There are 44 full on-premises licenses within 500 feet. This location was previously licensed to Stanton Surf Club, doing business as Stanton Social. With it closing at 2 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday, that business closed 5 years ago. No business has operated this location since December 31st, 2018, when Stanton Social closed. The applicant currently holds an OP license for Tower 4 Liberty Market LLC at 185 Greenwich Street, which is located in CB1. There are 1 311 complaint with police action necessary since 2018. The applicant does not have a history of any violations with the SLA. We received a letter in opposition from 13 tenants in the building next door, which is 101 Stanton, and we received a letter in opposition from the Lower East Side dwellers. 11 residents within 2 blocks of the location signed a petition in favor of this application. They're proposing hours of opening no later than 12 p.m. all days, closing by 12 a.m. Wednesday through Thursday, 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday, and then again 12 a.m. on Sunday. Okay. As the applicant, do you have anything to add, correct, or change to anything that you said?
Just one question. What was that, when you mentioned a 311 complaint?
Yeah, there was 1 311 since 2018 that required police.
Where?
At this location 5 years ago. 5 years ago.
Yeah, so
State.
it's been vacant since.
And if you remember, I went to do, we appeared by Zoom last year.
In March of 2023.
Correct.
You remember?
This committee approved it. And I believe at the full board, the resolution was changed
Yes.
and it was disapproved. So what we've done is the block is actually deteriorated. The landowners come back to us and ask that we get involved again. And we've restructured the application in such a way that we do not believe it will create more of a impact on the neighborhood, especially by closing 2 days a week, purposely. Cutting the hours back till 12 a.m., Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and just 2 a.m. Fridays and Saturdays. We want to be able to serve an authentic Korean experience, something that my clients will be very familiar with, but something that they would like me and you guys to get more familiar with. They want to bring their food to us. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Do you have, as the applicant, do you have anything to add?
I mean, as Frank mentioned, that, the buildings has been vacant for 5 years, and, we try, as a tenant, we try to
Thank you, Frank.
revive that whole area, that block, live it again, because that whole, it's not a small building, facade, it's been closed for 5 years, and then, on the top of that, bring in new experience to the Lower East Side neighborhood where, we are bringing Korean, authentic Korean food plus fusion. And then, we're gonna try to serve the community with the daytime course hours as well. So that, we can make the whole life, the neighborhood alive again, as we are heading at a new business.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanna speak to about the food perspective.
Tell them who you are.
I'm the culinary director for the restaurant,
And your name?
and then, my name is Jessica Lee. So speaking of making the neighborhood a little more lively, I wanna do that by bringing in Korean food, which I know the best. And I wanna present it as something that non-Korean can understand. So by doing that, I wanna bring two cultures together basically. I want my restaurants to be someone you can bring regardless of your friend is Korean or non-Korean outsider from New York City or the rest of the. I want them to have come together and enjoy the food, talk about the food, and then just purely just have a good time. And then I just want to emphasize that we have a large waiting area in the front of the restaurant that we are planning on having to make it as a little more interactive waiting area so we can control the crowds and then as well as noise.
I should have mentioned, there won't be people outside in the street. It's a very, very large front area that patrons will be queued up for, not on the street.
I do think our concept is gonna be something very unique that's gonna be exciting for the neighborhood. I do go around the neighborhood quite often, and I did notice that there is a little bit of a lack of diversity, I would say, and I think the type of food that we would be serving is gonna be very unique and but familiar for non-Koreans. And we're gonna do it taco style so that it's, shareable, as just said, and become a neighborhood staple, hopefully.
Okay, thank you. That being said, we're gonna move to the public. We do have one person in here in person, Patrick Walsh. If you would like to speak into the microphone just so we can hear you, but everyone on Zoom can hear you as well.
So it hasn't been on.
They have one, they're the other one.
Hello, my name is Patrick Welsh. I live at 101 Stanton Street. I am one of the entire building that wrote a letter and supplied a 50-page PDF about the dubious history of this organization in total opposition to these applications. Let me say this, that there is something grotesque and obscene that we are here again, I am here again, opposing another liquor license in a place that is insanely saturated, in a place that has become a crime zone. But this time it's 30 feet from our door and it abuts our wall. It abuts the wall of my building. There is no conceivable reason why our rights, I don't want to hear about controlling crowds. It's not possible. It is not possible. I look down from my window 5 nights a week. There are 30, 40 people, okay? The cops are doing the best they can. They can't control it. It is out of control. There have been too many liquor licenses given out. And it is time for this community board to stand. I understand that people have rights, that businesses have rights, but I also understand that we have rights, and our rights have been completely negated. And I implore you, for that reason, to deny this application. Thank you.
Thank you.
I signed in, I must not have signed in. Let's just speak.
You signed in, yes, you didn't sign a speaker form.
I don't think I signed a speaker form.
Okay, are you here to speak for this item?
Yes, yes.
Okay, you can go ahead and speak and we'll have you fill out the form after that.
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Armstrong. I live at 193 Orchard Street. We're back here again with the same thing. The poor neighborhood is desolate. boy, we just need to reapprove all these businesses stuff. Every single night, like the gentleman here, I go out, I got vomit in my doorway, I got all kinds of other stuff from people just coming in, racing their motors, racing their motorcycles at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, making all this noise and stuff. Oh, let's have another liquor license. We can walk right now to my neighborhood, we'll probably find 10 other restaurants who do the same thing. Maybe the cuisine may be a little bit different, but it's the same thing. More alcohol, more pot shops, more people screaming and yelling at all hours of the day and night. And I said the last time, you throw somebody out of the play business closed, you think people are gonna go home, they don't. They hang outside for another half hour, 45 minutes or more, racing their motors, racing their motorcycles, racing their cars, fighting and screaming, and then the commercial garbage trucks come down the block, which are twice as big as our regular city garbage trucks. They're 3 times as loud. Now they sit out there for another half hour, 45 minutes, dumping all the garbage that they have out there. And then you finally get a little bit of sleep, and now all comes our garbage trucks, which I love New York City sanitation. They do a wonderful job. And then I got the street sweepers after that. I never get any sleep. And lately in my neighborhood, I sit in front of my building and love the whole ambiance of the city. I see all these young couples now with babies, all kinds of different babies from all different kinds of walks of life. Now, how do they feel when all of a sudden in the middle of the night, their baby is woken up by some noise and something else that's going on? It's ridiculous. We got to put a stop to this. Or come down in yourselves. It's not just at the board here, but come out at 4 o'clock in the morning and look at all the garbage that goes on here. It's just not fair. It's time to get a handle on this. So let's figure out what's going on and stop it, because it's ridiculous what's happening now.
Okay.
Would you sign?
Perfect. Thank you very much. So we do
Would
have.
you sign that?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
We do have some members of the public here. We're going to start with Danielle G. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey everyone, my name's Danielle. I live very close to this location. I noticed that after COVID, a lot of storefronts has remained closed, especially this location. The storefront has been closed, which leads to a lot of loitering outside. So I'm very much looking forward to a new place, kind of revamping the space. And I think a Korean restaurant would be a great addition to the neighborhood. So I'm looking forward to seeing this.
Okay, thank you, Danielle.
Mark.
Next, we have Mark Tottenham. Mark, you can go ahead and speak. I think you're unmuted, so. Okay, you're muted, so if you go ahead and unmute yourself, Mark.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I live close to the neighborhood, and I'd like to have a Korean restaurant next to me. There's a Korean restaurant just opened next to me, and it's awful. So I'm looking for some good food.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Next, we're going to on to Hyun Won. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that.
That's fine. Hi. Yeah, I actually live around the area, and I think that an addition of a Korean restaurant in the neighborhood would actually just liven things up and would truly be quite convenient for me as well. So yeah, I'm quite in favor of this.
Where does he live?
You said you live in the neighborhood, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next is Andrew Han. Andrew, you can go ahead. It looks like you're unmuted. You can go ahead and speak, please.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Oh yeah. Oh, thank you. So yeah, this is Andrew Han, and I live nearby here. Then I'm quite in favor of having this restaurant here because looks like others are just like additional Korean food restaurant here. Then I'll really like it.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I didn't hear what he said.
Yeah.
He said he would like another restaurant, another Korean restaurant. He'd really like it.
Okay, it's good.
The next we have Kevin. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Kevin, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yep. I mean, this place been empty for a while. And is it better for we're having a new restaurant for our neighborhood? So I support them.
Okay. Thank you very much. And last, it looks like we have Brian Kim.
Hello.
Go ahead, please.
Hi. So I grew up in New York City. I went to high school. I went to Stuyvesant High School. I went to NYU for college. So I'm pretty much like, New Yorker boy to heart, And then I grew up in like East Village / like Lower East Side area. And Lower East Side is my favorite neighborhood in Manhattan. And what I noticed starting after COVID is that I walk by there during the daytime for some, like just coffee or whatever. I see so many closed storefront and I see so many homeless people that just like sleeping in the front, so much garbage everywhere. And that neighborhood is not pretty right now. And if we're really opposing a storefront to come in and make the neighborhood better and make the neighborhood cleaner, and if people are opposing it, that's like, like I love this neighborhood, like, and then Korean food is great because, like only thing I find is like, neighborhood too is like, American food and like some Italian, Mexican here and there, but, not that much like, Korean or any variety of food. So I would love to see this restaurant come in and, actually thrive. And I know that, like without selling alcohol and you only sell food, there's no way, like this restaurant can survive. And, now I see why so many restaurants comes in and leave. Because they can't survive with all these like, liquor license opposed, like, like, but anyway, that's where I am. And then, yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Brian. I think I don't see anyone else here to speak. Patrick, I did see your hand up. I know you already spoke. Do you have something quick
I just want to
add?
know if there's any way to discern who these people are and where they live. I live in the area, I live in the, what is this?
Unnecessary comment.
Yeah, I have one more thing to say. I have nothing against Korean food, I have nothing against any kind of food. When you have another 120 people in our neighborhood coming out at the end of the night, walking around the neighborhood, it just adds to more disruption in the neighborhood. It's so out of control, it's just beyond everything.
Okay, thank you. So we're gonna go back to the applicants. And Frank, you've heard the public comments. Do you have anything to respond to anything you've heard or?
Thank you for all the residents who came out to speak tonight. My first thought is there was 145 people here before when this was Territory 99, Stand Social. We're replacing a restaurant that went out of business right before COVID. But I have listened to concerns, and I do know this neighborhood is inundated. Having said that, I just discussed with Aaron, we are a restaurant. At all hours of operation, we're a restaurant. There's no time that the kitchen stops operations. We serve all hours of the day. We will close our doors promptly when we say we're going to close them, and those will be dark times. In addition to that, we will pay for and have our security guards, which we don't want. We don't believe we need security. We're a restaurant. We're putting security on our payroll for the neighbors who have concerns. What we will do is keep our security guards 1/2 hour on the street after closing to make sure that no one stands in front of the place and makes any noise and does anything they go on to their destination. That's right.
But they just walk next door.
Yeah, sorry, we're not gonna have the back and forth. Sorry.
Like, well,
You can't.
Okay.
I'm on my side.
Thank you. Okay, so that, anything else to respond to? Or not, we're gonna move to the committee comments. Okay. Committee, David.
Yeah, it has not had license in 5 years. It's been, nothing's operating there. So I'm, okay. When I hear things like the neighborhood is deteriorating, we're gonna liven it up, is exactly the opposite. The neighborhood does not need livening up. And if it's deteriorating, it's because of the vast number of liquor licenses already there. So I think that we need to deny this application just purely based on the oversaturation of neighborhood. This is an instance where the SLA would follow our suit as long as residents did go up with the 500-foot hearing, and they will.
Okay. Sarah, John.
I don't have a comment.
I mean, I appreciate the changes since last time. I mean, I see some value in having something different in that area, and there's a lot of Asian folks that have come out tonight, and owners Asian. I think we have to also, you know, think about what we can contribute to our community by having other things represented and not just a generic cocktail bar or a generic club. So I think for me, that's always a positive. I do understand the concerns about saturation, and it is unlicensed and has been for some time. So that's a bit different than other applications.
My comment is, I do agree with you that I think you do want to run a legitimate restaurant. However, the fact that this is an extremely oversaturated problem area, and this is currently, and I think the SLA would agree with this, that it is an unlicensed location. It's been unlicensed since 2018. It would be considered a completely new application or a new license. So, and I mean, I appreciate your offer to extend the security, but I think the issue is we're adding another liquor license to an already problem area, and having you have a capacity of 155 people. 155 people coming and going is, and I know you closed Monday and Tuesday you're closed. Those aren't really the main problem days. The problem days are primarily Thursday, Friday, and Saturday when it's just out of control down there. It really is. And I appreciate closing promptly at 2 a.m. at your closing times, but for me, it's the location and the space. I think if you were to come for any other application, and if you were coming with a full restaurant with beer and wine, I might have a little bit more consideration for this, but adding another full liquor license to an oversaturated location, I just don't think I could do. I appreciate whether it's not about you or your application, it's about the location. I am not comfortable adding another liquor license to this extremely saturated problem area. And I appreciate what you did say about, it's an empty storefront, which has been causing problems, but that's a whole bigger problem that we have to deal with, that I think adding more liquor licenses to those empty spaces isn't necessarily solving the problem or helping, is my opinion. So. Yes, Frank, please respond.
David, we never said deteriorated. One of the speakers used that expression, not us.
Actually, I heard it from over here, and it was definitely someone saying.
Not the exact word deteriorated.
Okay, all right.
Also, we recognize the concerns. This is a project that we're committed to. We want to reach an agreement with the community board and the neighbors. That's our goal. If we have to try and look with the liquor authority, we will, and whatever. What if we, and again, no legitimate restaurant, we are offering a specific type of food to an American culture to get used to. What if we close it 7 days a week at midnight? Legitimate, we're not going late. And I'll keep my offer of a half an hour later for the security guard. I think that's very, very fair. And they don't love me for it. Sure. Contradict me, I'll tell you.
So the reason why we want the full liquor license is matter of the full liquor license, rather than the operation hour, is because we wanna build a beverage program that introduces Korean traditional liquor, craft cocktail. And then I think that it's crucial for us to have a liquor license rather than the beer and wine, because that's definitely limits a salt cocktail craft.
That's one of the things.
Okay. Thank you for your response. Okay, committee. David.
So on this idea, once a liquor license is established, as long as it's continuously operated, it will continue to be a liquor license, and it would be impossible for us to roll it back. So I think that we need to not issue a new license in this oversaturated area. It's just so saturated that every license, we have to reduce the number of them. And
That's
adding
completely
more is the
untrue,
opposite.
David. I can't change the method of operation without coming to you before. If we don't do well, if we don't do well, someone else is right, you're gonna hold them to the same standards.
But if there's already a license there, the SLA is much more likely to approve it
Yes.
than not.
And what the board has been trying to get the committee to do for many years now is to reduce the number of licenses in these areas. And this is an example of where we can do that. Well, preventing the increase.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think anyone else, I think we've discussed it enough on the committee. We're ready to move to a vote.
Well, I think we need to have the motion.
There needs to be a motion, but that's what I said. We're ending discussion. We're ready to move to a motion on this item. I don't know if you actually made a motion.
No, well, so do we have the draft motion with the facts, and then you have my amendment, right, proposed language about the saturation problem? If you have those, we can bring them up and blend them together. I think that the whereas about the impacts may need to be updated. It's the situation here almost a year ago when the same applications.
Just can we double confirm? I know you said it's critical to the operation, but you absolutely sure you can't do this without liquor? Because if they want to have a restaurant, I don't oppose restaurant.
They have it in another they can have this restaurant in another location.
That too, that's a different option, but I'm asking year one.
Your wine at this location.
It's not there with
no option.
Yeah, they said they can't. Earlier
I know they did. I just want to make sure they understand that is an option for us.
And this 12 o'clock closing, 7 days a week is off the table at this time, right? We all understand that also.
No.
Okay.
Okay, so I think what David was referring to was the whereas clause that we used last time in March.
No, well, I sent you.
Well, that's what I have, but
you have them.
I thought it was
they're very similar.
Very similar to what we used last time. The draft.
Can we get them up on the screen?
Oh,
that'd be fabulous.
Yes, let me.
And what I suspect is that our draft motion with the facts collected would, instead of the resolved, it would be these. Well, when you see them, there's a whereas saying that it's been 5 years since there was a license, so it's considered not the words that I got in it. But we one describing the trending crime problems in the area, which were what was being referred to earlier by a couple of members of the public, and it will say that I'll forget now because there's a few that I have done this for.
Okay, so
screen sharing not working.
Well,
No,
I have to switch it from a different computer.
Okay.
Okay.
And I can't bring it up on my phone for some reason.
Pardon?
And I can't bring what I had drafted up on my phone, so.
No.
I can share it on the screen. Okay. So I'm going to share a proposed draft that David sent through. Okay, so we have this on the screen now. We can make it a little bit bigger if that helps. Did it increase?
Says it is, but it isn't. Can you do this one here? There you go.
Okay.
We can actually strike, because I see one strike already of the whereases. You can strike the last whereas.
Okay.
That was just more like notes to myself.
This
Somehow
one?
got turned into a whereas.
Okay, so this was the draft you sent through here.
Yeah, so go ahead and delete that one. I'm not proposing that third whereas.
This last one, the CV3 previously denied?
Yeah.
Delete that?
I mean, I think so, unless you think it adds something.
No.
So I don't think it does.
Okay. So you had, this was 99 stands located in a very oversaturated area with trending crime issues reported by the 7th precinct. You wanted to take out these specific.
I didn't want to, but there was a comment when I sent this around that the situation has changed. If it
So
has
if-
not changed, then this was pretty serious.
Well, you can't, I mean, we can't report that without checking it. We can go online and check it very easily. I know so if they stopped, I heard that the police stopped closing down the streets in that area. Is that true?
They do on and off. That doesn't seem to be,
So they're not continuously doing that anymore. So what I think you need to do is check the 7th precinct stats. And if their crime is going up, say, I know some kinds of crime are going up. Be very specific about exactly what they show.
Too late to do that for tonight.
No, they can just insert.
So we're going to say, whereas 99 stand is located in very oversaturated area with trending crime issues reported by the 7th precinct, we're going to take out the specifics that we had.
I would take out the word trending, because we don't know that right now. And then the specifics, at least down through, well, there's 2 crimes being described here that was
Yes.
extremely concerning to me last year. So that sentence starting at criminals, down through having their property stolen.
Yeah, I think
If those are
that, I
actually
think
not-
that has been resolved.
If we can, so delete those. Oh, and the next sentence.
So yes.
I think what you could do is at the full board, add in what's actually occurring.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what the most current.
Pardon?
I'd be interested what the most current is, although even I think back a year and change is still valid. I don't think that is old.
I don't think it's recovered. Susan's pretty careful about, can we document these things? And a year and a half ago, we did have the precinct say all of those things to us. In fact, it was read out at a full board meeting as well.
But I specifically asked.
I understand. So that's why I'm dialing this back just a bit here.
Okay.
And they have caused the precinct to close the streets. And so then therefore.
Yeah, therefore be it resolved that Community Board 3 recommends denial of the application for a full on-premises license for a premises located 99 Stand Street because it does not show public benefit and seeks a full on-premises license in a location that has not been operating as business with a full on-premises liquor license since December of 2018 in a saturated area where there are already 43 full on-premises liquor licenses within 500 feet. Then we have NYPD is reporting to Community Board 3 that the trending crime. So we would take out this last one.
And crime problems and traffic and crowd conditions that necessitate police action. I think we can
Oh,
just say
traffic and crowd are still there.
Okay, so we're going to just
say
delete.
instead of the NPD back through nightlife establishments, I think we could just say crime problems and traffic and crowd conditions. And this.
I would suggest that you also specifically say that because it's been vacant for so many years, it is considered a non-licensed location.
Is now. Okay, so we're saying the previous description we read, but then we're saying that has not been operating as a business with a full on-premises license since December 2018 and is now considered an unlicensed location in a saturated area where there are already 43 full on-premises liquor licenses within 500 feet, and the traffic and crowd conditions, and that doesn't, it's not quite, and the traffic and crowd conditions that necessitate police action. I think that's a little clumsy. We need to say, and in addition to, so, and in addition to the traffic and crowd conditions that necessitate police action. Is that?
And in addition to, I don't see what that's a weird, whatever that kind of clause is. I think it's a prepositional phrase. It's a very strange one to put there. And in addition to?
Well, but if it's just, we had it with the liquor, like there were 43 liquor licenses within 500 feet and the traffic and crowd conditions that necessitate police action. I don't think that was that?
And in addition, there are traffic. You could say in addition, there are.
In addition to the existing traffic and car.
That makes more sense.
To the existing, yeah.
Okay, if you're trying to say added to, okay.
Okay. Is that?
I drafted the rest of it, so I know that I explained the 5-year.
Yes, you did say that in
pretty well,
this.
and I explained
so there
petitions and so forth, but there were other clauses in the original that were still highlighted in yellow.
Yes.
In the draft.
That was, there were 44 on 43, 41, correct, I'll check that. The location was previously licensed, we have that. There's been no businesses at this location since December 31st of 2018 when Stanton Social closed. So therefore this is an inactive license. The applicant currently holds an OP, we mentioned that, and then we received a letter in opposition from 13 tenants in the building next door. 11 residents who live within 2 blocks of the location signed a petition in favor. So then we're going to add in this, whereas 99 Stanton is a very saturated area, this is what's on the screen. Whereas the number of complaints in this area have caused police to close the streets in this area, including Stanton Street, and weaken nights to manage the crowds and help disperse crowds. Then we can go into therefore it be resolved that we recommend the denial because it does not show public benefit and seeks a full on-premises license, and a location has not been operating with a full on-premises license since December of 18 and is now considered an unlicensed location in a saturated area where there are already 43 full on-premises licenses within 500 feet, and in addition to the existing traffic and crowd conditions that necessitate police action. It's still clumsy and that needs to be fixed.
You might want to add many resident complaints.
Maybe that goes under a whereas or something.
So that could be,
just, this is a.
I mean, that can be, you know, whereas we received a letter in opposition from 13 residents in the building next door at 111 Stanton and Lower East Side dwellers, as well as
The police and community board receiving many complaints for the area.
Okay. Does that sound good to everyone? There are no more changes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by John. Okay, then we will move to a vote on the denial based on the whereases that we just went through, and therefore be resolved the denial because of the additional items we just added. Sarah Bacci.
Yes.
Yes. David Crane.
Yes.
Clint Smeltzer, yes. John Fout.
Yes.
Okay. That motion passes, therefore this is denied. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, because I know you're doing a lot of hard work and you don't have to be here, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're tired.
We're not paid to be here.
You'd rather be fishing.
Okay.
Each one depends on the roads.
Thank you. Thank you. David Troutman. He didn't. So we missed him.
Right.
Okay. Let me just get up the next application. The next item we will be hearing is number 8, which is 121 St. Mark's LLC at 123 St. Mark's Place. Is the applicant here for that item?
We have hand raising.
Okay, so no one is here in person, but we do have some hand raised on the Zoom.
Jeremy, come. Another person.
Sarah, you didn't say what you
I do.
It's on.
It's on.
Well, no, Phoenix, but the number 8 as well. But
Yeah,
when it's
they're
on.
both on,
Perfect,
and I
perfect.
started the resolution. I did
Oh.
most of the resolution
Oh,
for number
perfect,
8 as
perfect,
well.
perfect. So we'll just read.
I can do the resolution for.
I can do it. Okay, just give me one moment to get up. Okay. Thank you for that, Sarah.
My brain is functioning way better now than last night for my own resolution.
Okay, so it looks like we have Jeremy and Jake. You're the applicants, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna give a brief summary. We're gonna ask for any comments, clarifications from you, turn it to the public, and then we'll come back to the committee. So this is an application for 121 St. Mark's Place. I'm sorry, MT 121 St. Mark's LLC is seeking a full on-premises license for a location at 123 St. Mark's Place between Avenue A and First Avenue. It's an establishment of 74 people with 15 tables and 65 seats with 1 bar with 19 seats, Japanese food prepared in a full kitchen, serving food during all hours of operation, recorded music at background level. There are 28 full on-premises licenses within 500 feet. This location is not currently licensed. The applicant is currently a license holder at MT 181 Waverly, which is doing business as Moody Tongue in Greenwich Village. It's partnered with a brewer who has 10 years of industry experience. We did receive an email from one resident in opposition, and I did quickly count. I think there were 13 residents who live within 2 blocks of this location signed a petition in favor. And they're proposing hours of opening no later than 11 a.m. and closing by 12 p.m. all days.
Closing at 12 a.m. Sorry.
I'm sorry, yeah, sorry, it's 11 a.m. and closing by 12, sorry. Opening at 11 p.m., closing by 12 a.m. all days. Tongue twister there for me. Okay, so that's kind of a brief summary of what you're proposing. You can go ahead and add anything that I missed or any changes or corrections that you have.
Yeah, no, briefly, I'll just say first, obviously, thank you for your time this evening. My name is Jeremy Cohn. I'm one of the founders of Moody Tongue. We're based in Chicago, but this is our second location in New York. As you mentioned earlier, we previously opened a sushi restaurant in the West Village. The concept at this location will be a Japanese gastropub. Our location in Chicago has 2 Michelin stars. Our location in the West Village was added to the Michelin Guide earlier this year, and we anticipate operating this location in the same regard. Like you mentioned, I believe we have fairly reasonable closing hours. We're not requesting any outdoor space, and we'll only be playing recorded music. You did, I will note, previously approve us for a beer and wine license, but we are here today because our concept really requires the full on-premise liquor license. But happy to address any questions you might have. And I have with me Jake, who is one of our partners as well, and oversees all of our New York operations.
Nice to meet everybody.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for those additions and that explanation. Are there any members of the public here to speak to this item? Please raise your Zoom hand. Is there anyone actually here in person to speak to this item? I don't know if there was. Okay, okay, I do see one.
No person.
I don't need the charge here.
Okay, so Laura, we're gonna go ahead and promote you. Laura, hold on one moment. Okay, you should be showing up momentarily, Laura. Okay, looks like you're ready. You can go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Thank you. It's Laura Sewell speaking for the East Village Community Coalition. This block is one of the most saturated blocks in the East Village. And we have a few locations that are licensed but vacant presently. So they will no doubt resurface and re-enter the market as a bar restaurant. So we just really feel that for this particular block, that full liquor, even I appreciate that it's a real restaurant. I appreciate that you have excellent chef credentials, but for this particular block, we just really can't support another full liquor license. I don't think that the committee has issued a full liquor license to any applicant on this block for a long time who hasn't at least operated for a period of time with a beer and wine. And so, it's interesting that you have a brewery background, and I'm just wondering if beer and wine might be an option, because the block is lively. It has a great restaurant scene, and the neighbors generally do not complain to us about the restaurants, but we certainly hear an earful, both the community board and my organization, about the bars. So that's all I have to say. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Laura. Is there anyone else from the public before we move on to response from the applicant and committee members? Okay, so Jeremy or Jake, do you have any response to Laura's questions or comments?
Sure. First, Laura, thank you obviously for your comments. I would say that we do believe that having the full license is crucial, I think, to our concept here, and that's partially accolade driven with respect to the Michelin organization, whom we work close with. We're certainly not going to be causing any trouble. I hope you'll have an opportunity to see our location in the West Village as a representation of that. And while we do have a brewery background, you're right, we do create a lot of the beers, the specialty beers that we put on draft. But we do also like to showcase other spirits and cocktails. And I think by way of example, and Jake can speak to more of the detail, but just like we'll be using a lot of seasonal ingredients in our dishes, we showcase those within cocktails as well, which is a very familiar part of like traditional Japanese cuisine. So I do appreciate the concern. I will say my understanding also was there was a gentleman, Rob Sarasa, who was approved in this space for a full liquor license, but did not actually open. I think he actually left the space, which is what allowed us to move in. But we do think we'd be a great addition to the neighborhood. Obviously, Superiority Burger, which was just accoladed by the guide this year, is around the corner. There's a lot of wonderful food and folks and beverages. I don't think we'll add in a negative sense. I think we would contribute to the well-being of the street, certainly, and the neighborhood.
Thank you for that. Okay, we're going to move to committee comments. David, go ahead.
I want us to do the exact same thing we did on the previous item. It is an oversaturated block. This one has never been licensed before, similar to the location directly across the street that was in front of us last month. And anyway, you should be working to reduce the number of licenses, certainly never increase it. There's only a handful of blocks on which this is true, and they have chosen to create a new license if they can get away with it on one of those blocks, which we warn people about in our guidance. So that's what I want us to do and bring up the same draft, but let's hear from other people.
This is one of the blocks that is closed.
Yes.
So this is one of the blocks that, with input from the police, the community board successfully had DOT change the closing hours for the open streets from 11 to 10 because of the report.
It was originally 12, wasn't it? And it moved back to 11 and then 10.
And then in the last year changed to 10 because of the crime the police were dealing with on that block.
Okay, thank you, Susan. John?
Is there a reason why you haven't considered taking over another location that actually is currently licensed as opposed to opening up a new license? I think you've heard us pretty strongly oppose licenses regardless of what you're actually opening. And
No,
it doesn't really matter where you're going to be located. You're probably going to draw people given your reputation. So why not just take another location or a location on an avenue or something that's not the same kind of street that we're kind of dealing with.
No, I appreciate that. And thank you, obviously, for the kind words about the concept too. We have been looking around extensively in this neighborhood for well over a year, and this location came up, to be totally forthright, by happenstance. It's our same landlord in the West Village with whom we have a good relationship. And so we did end up settling on this location in particular. A lot of the other availabilities that have come up, and particularly those that you're alluding to that have licenses, are much smaller in square footage. And for the kitchen that, 500, 700, 900 square feet, 1,000 square feet, for the size of our kitchen alone, in order to, produce all of basically the food menu that we're speaking to here, we wouldn't even be able to accommodate the food. Basically, we wouldn't be able to produce the food with the size of the kitchen that we need to operate here. So this was a little bit of a needle in the haystack. It's obviously, we would love to be in the neighborhood. I've got family around the corner from this location. I used to live a few blocks from this location. But in terms of finding a space of this size, it's very difficult. And to do so in a way that we can make work from a business standpoint, we're fortunate that, our landlord in the West Village owns this property as well.
Okay. So I kind of have to echo what David said. Last month, we heard an item that was directly across the street from you. It was 122 St. Mark's, and it was also previously unlicensed. It was a grocery store and market, and they closed. They're now proposing a liquor license for actually it wasn't a full restaurant, but it was a very similar concept where they were proposing cocktails and they were bringing a new experience and they were going to be low key, and it was great. And I respected their application, and I think it was a good application. Just like I'm going to say to you, I think you have a pretty good application here that I could fully support in another location, especially another location not on St. Mark's or in the Hell Square area, or you're picking one of our 2 or 3 worst areas we have in our community board. If it was almost anywhere than here or one of the other bad places, I could almost fully support this, but I just don't know. And it's not about your application. It's basically about the actual location you've chosen. And I understand the size requirements, but I don't think I can go to add another liquor license in this, because as was mentioned earlier, once a license is added, I'm not saying that, if you were there, I wish you luck that you'll last for 10 or 15 years, but if you decide to close up, a license is there, it's much more easier to go to the SLA, and the SLA will much more likely grant an application in a license that's already licensed.
That's their guidance. I mean, that's their
So,
rules.
that's their actual rules, and that's their guidance that they give us. So that's why we're very hesitant to grant a license in an unlicensed location. It's a step it's something that can't be taken back, basically, for us. So I'm going to agree with David on this, and that I don't think I can approve any application, regardless of yours or another application, in this location. And it sounded like John is kind of on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, I would be in favor of this application in lots of places, just not here. You guys would be a great addition, somewhere on the avenue. I mean, there has to be a large avenue space that's open in a lot of these new buildings. They have large retail spaces. I just can't imagine that there isn't one that isn't large enough for your space. I mean, so.
Come down to my neighborhood. We don't have any bars and restaurants.
And you need to
You livened up. Sorry.
So, okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I completely understand where you're coming from with respect to your concerns, more so about if, say, unfortunately, knock on wood, hypothetically, our business was not to make it. All I can say is, in order to make the business side work, we can really only do so, obviously, because the size of the space and because we have this existing relationship with the landlord who is offering us, not obviously, but a very favorable deal. it would be, and like I said, I have actually been looking fairly extensively within a very relatively broad radius around here. I just haven't found anything else. And we would really love to open here. So I understand your concerns. I'm happy to obviously discuss any sort of accommodation from an operating standpoint in terms of stipulations or otherwise. We have similar stipulations in the West Village in terms of how we operate. Obviously our goal is not to worsen the block or the neighborhood. But I think everyone here understands that. We love to be a valuable addition to the street. Like I said, I think the best, around the corner is Superiority Burger, which also received an accolade from the Michelin Guide. I think speaks to the growing interest in, the culinary side. So I'm not certain what else I can add. It sounds like you understand our concept and our goals here.
I think what you've heard, we're all kind of fully on board with your concept and your application. And it's just a location, and as they say in real estate, location, location, location. So I think we're kind of on board with that. So I think we're ready to move to a motion.
Yeah, so I move that we deny it. If you can bring up the draft, I think it's pretty close to what we need.
And I think the issue is also, we have to treat people the same.
Right. Yeah, agreed. So, in this situation, the public benefit or his interest, I really don't know the right word to use. We should use the right one in this motion. Would have to be very high for one of these oversaturated locations, and I don't hear one.
So the draft we had was a denial unless. So I think we just need to.
No, my draft of the amendment was called amendment number 2, blah, blah, blah.
Did you have a draft for?
It said 4 amendments.
Hold on, did I have?
2 of them I'm not doing.
I didn't think
misunderstood.
Let me see if you had. Let me see, I missed that you sent that, sorry.
Amendment something, number 8, something, something.
Oh, you know what, yes, sorry, we did, I have it down, sorry. Yeah, it was number 8.
Really, my naming convention has a lot of implication up front for these different things, so.
Number 12, hold on, I downloaded 12 and 6.
Uh-oh.
Did you not do number?
I did number 8, I sent that afterwards. If you brought the one for number 6, I had one for, or is that right? No.
No, 6 was 99 Stanton.
No, there's another one for St. Mark's and.
So here's,
there were 2 emails on which I did attachments.
Here's the one. It was number 4, which is 9096. Those were your original ones.
Yeah.
And then this one. So you had.
Those 2 are not one version 2. It was the original email, so it was part of the original set.
This one.
Did I fuck this up? Because one of them has.
Oh, here it is. Amendment number 8. You do.
Okay, great.
So I just need to download this and put it on that computer and open it up.
Sorry, I just said cuss.
I think one thing I want to add is just something that Clint brought up earlier in the meeting, that we've started doing expedited locations. So like literally, if you were on one of the avenues somewhere, we would have approved this application so fast. Like you would have spent approximately 30 seconds here. That's how fast we would approve. This actual location, we will not approve. I mean, we won't. Unfortunately, given the fact that it's not a previously licensed location.
In a very saturated area.
And it's, an extremely saturated area. It's unbelievable what's going on in some of these blocks, actually.
And also, we can't deny one with the same criteria 1 month and then across the street.
Okay, I'm going to share. David had proposed an amendment here. You should be seeing it on the screen. So, whereas 123 St. Mark's Place has never been licensed for a full on-premises liquor license, whereas 123 St. Mark's Place is located in a very oversaturated area with high levels of crime focused on customers and nightlife establishment, the 9th precinct had the 2022 Open Streets program for this block of St. Mark's changed from midnight closure to a 10 p.m. closure because of high levels of crime. on the block on weekends after 10 p.m. CB3 asked DOT to keep the 10 p.m. closure for the 2023 season. Whereas CB3 adopted guidance in September
I don't
20.
think that's true. I think in 2023 at 11 o'clock was approved and we got it changed from 11 to 10.
Okay, so it should be,
That's the one that we actually, the 2023 season was what we approved in April before the transportation committee. And so I run that
But it
committee.
was, yes, but it was from 11 to 10.
Well, we approved it for 10 p.m.
yes, the last one was for
The
10 p.m.
previous one, they had brought it down to.
In 2022, it went to 11, and then
Yes.
in 2023, you brought it to 12, to 10.
All right, well, you can talk, I'm gonna look
Yep.
at.
So the next whereas clause, we had whereas CB3 adopted guidance in September 2021 and modified in October 2023 that was October 2022. That I know is correct.
May I ask?
And would not generally support. Yep.
May I ask just one question? Only for my reference. Is it worthwhile noting, I did mention this a little earlier, but the exact same space that we're in was approved in the last year or two for a full on-premise license with another gentleman, Rob Saras.
It was a license.
It was, but he never opened it. It was never licensed, so it still continues to be considered unlicensed. Had he opened, even if it had been for a period of time, it would have been considered a licensed location. But in this case, he never did. He was approved, but never went through the process of getting the license and opening with it. So it's almost helped you, but not quite.
Yeah, we understand it's misleading that you would think that it was approved before, but
In the eyes of the state, because there was never an actual license given and opened in that location, it still would be considered unlicensed.
and I think what happened is the board has then reassessed how they should be approving licenses.
Didn't come back, they won.
What?
Denied it and it went to the state and they approved.
Oh, we denied it.
I think was what happened, if I remember, but that was.
Okay,
But
let me say approved.
yeah, so, it was
So
generally.
we're consistently not approving it.
So it was, and it would generally not support the full on-premises license in the applications for locations that have never been licensed in saturated areas, which is posted on the CB3 website. Therefore, be resolved that CB3 recommends denial of the application for a full on-premises liquor licenses for MT 121 located at 123 St. Mark's Place because it does not show public benefit and seeks a full on-premises license in a location that has never been licensed for a full on-premises license in a saturated area with a history of quality of life issues and NYPD reports of high levels of crime during nightlife hours. So that is the motion that David has made and is put on the table.
Second.
Seconded by John.
I missed a huge chunk of the discussion.
It's the exact same situation.
It's the same situation.
Yeah, no, I
Asking-
heard that part
Okay, yeah.
over there, but I just.
Do you, since you're back, do you have anything you want to say or comment or ask before we move?
No, I just was clarifying, like, I know I missed that.
Yeah. Okay. So motion has been made, it's been seconded. We will move to a vote. Sarah Bachu,
No.
David Crane,
Yes.
Clint Smeltzer.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's a motion to deny.
Yeah, sorry, I'm backwards. Sorry, I have to say yes.
Okay, that was just, you're fine either way, just clarifying. So you're saying yes to the denial?
Yes.
Okay. Sarah Batcher, yes. David Crane, yes. Clint Smeltzer, yes. John Cobb, yes. Okay. So your motion has been denied. It will still go to the full board. You have every right to attend that meeting as well, but the committee has denied it at this point.
Okay. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And as we said, good application,
Wrong place.
just wrong place. So keep looking, keep looking and come back to us.
Thank you. I will circle up. Yeah. Have a good evening.
Okay. Thank you. The next item we are going to move to is number 9, Close Up Winhall Station LLC at 154 Orchard Street. Yeah, that's us. Okay, applicant is here in person for this. And then please raise your hand in the Zoom if you are here for this item, which is number 9, 154 Orchard Street. See one person at least at the moment with their hand raised. Okay, just giving you 1 second to get the description up. Just closed everything, sorry about that. Okay, this is an application we heard last month. They withdrew and came back. They are seeking a full on-premises license for a location at 154 Orchard Street. It's between Rivington and Stanton. It's an application for an establishment of, and I think it's a 49. It was 49. Yeah. 49 people, 16 tables, and 65 seats. One 9-foot bar with no seats. Small plates of food prepared in a full kitchen, serving food during all hours of operation. Operating as a bar tavern that has no television and does have jazz music and a lounge. Simple speakers with volume control. Nightly jazz performances, improvised music, and one of the rooms would have a cover charge for performances only. They will not be using a promoter. There are 45 on-premises licenses within 500 feet. This address was previously a restaurant named Saverna, and it was operating since August of 2018 with a full kitchen, closing by 12 a.m. all days. It was originally a wine and beer license, and in January of 22, it was upgraded to a full liquor license. One of the applicants, Daniel Gaynor, has worked as a manager of music at a jazz club at Casa Cipriani. He oversaw the music and sound. In 2015, he worked as a server, cook, and manager at an Italian restaurant in Hong Kong.
Yes, correct. Guys, it's kind of hard to hear.
Okay, sorry. We received a letter of support from the Dinosaur Block Association, one local resident and one local business, as letters of opposition from the Riverside dwellers. And 67 residents who live within 2 blocks of the location signed a petition in favor, including 8 from the same building. Okay, so I know you were here last week or last month. So, okay, before I go into it, I'm gonna just let you come in and add your description or additions.
Okay, yeah, post our meeting last month, we went in and I went into the registered architect who used to work at the DOB to review all the documents. I got the documents from my landlord, Lon, who's been here since he's 13. The connected storefronts, there was plumbing, electric, all for the space in the back, has been approved by the DOB. And I think in the petition, actually, I know in the petition, the documents there show the final CO and the stamps from the DOB. We are pushing for, a later night, which I understand in a saturated area is, like contentious, and I do hear that. We feel like we need to be open slightly later, not just for the public, but for musicians themselves, right? Like, I'm gonna have Solomon talk about jam sessions and why this is kind of integral to what we want to do. I walked up and down canvassing multiple days, got a lot of support from the people in the neighborhood, spoke to multiple businesses who all are really excited for a jazz club. I think this kind of music, and definitely the Lower East Side, is a rich history of artistic expression and exploration, and a venue like this, I think, would add to that. Yeah, and then I'm going to pass it over to Saul to talk about.
Actually, can I just interject for 1 second? Hi, guys. Nice to see everyone. I just want to interject that the one thing, a big change that has been made since last month's meeting is regarding the occupancy inside the premises. So while they do have occupancy for a larger amount of people, essentially that initial room when you walk in is intended to be more of a holding area so that people aren't congregating on the streets, there's no loitering, that you go in. So the CO, we did confirm at this point, is the 49 persons. So at all times, the premises is going to obviously be in compliance with that. You'll see seating that's still reflective of the old seating, which is obviously, we just want to make that clear that that's not the intention, that the intention is really going to be, okay, so with the restrictions that we have, with the parameters regarding the occupancy, we're going to keep the seating. However, patrons are going to come in. We're still going to have a maximum, including obviously employees and musicians, of 49 persons at any one time. But when you come in, you come into that first room rather than collecting tickets or anything outside. That room will serve food. There's a holding area. You kind of hang out there for a little bit, maybe have a drink there, and then you transition into that back room. So the occupancy is going to obviously stay in compliance. So I just want to make that clear because it might not be clear from the diagrams what the intention is at this point. Obviously, if there's any change to the CO, he knows he would have to come back to the community board to be reflective of that.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so I think anything else to add from?
Yeah, I just want to talk about the extension of the license till 2 a.m. and just the importance of it from the music community's perspective, because I'm a musician myself. I represent that part of what the business is. In order for this place to really be an actual home for the artistic community, for the music community, the jazz community of New York, most people are playing gigs until 11 o'clock, 11:30, especially on the weekends. And there's a really long-standing tradition of going out after you playing gigs, convening with people, coming together for just one drink at the end of the night, playing at jam sessions. It's something that's like been part of New York City history since the 30s. And basically without places like this, without the ability to actually be open late enough to go out after your gig, that tradition dies. And there aren't enough places left in the city, period. There's nothing on the east side whatsoever that does this at all. And I just wanted to stress the importance of that from the music community's perspective.
Okay, thank you for adding that.
Okay. And I think they have 10 occupants in the building. Is that right, Danielle? There's
There's a couple people I didn't speak to, but I have spoken to most of them.
I think on your petitions, you had 8 from the same building. Yes. What?
I think I counted it earlier and it's 10 with the new petitions added, just for the sake of clarification.
Okay, sorry, this might have been a holdover from the last one that didn't get updated.
I think 64 was last month, and then I also canvassed
218. So we said those were emailed on Friday, obviously.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll check with that email and I will update it because I do remember I saw those come in, so that could be my fault. So I guess, is that everything? Okay, I think Susan had her.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I keep looking on the building information search, and the last C of O I can find was a temporary one that expired in 2013. Do you understand why, or did anyone tell you why they don't have the new C of O on the website?
We do have it. I'm sorry. My name is Alan Noy. As he said, I'm a landlord. I came to support him because he's a great guy. I don't usually come to any of the tenants.
I'm just asking.
We have it. I can show it to you right now. It's online.
Sure.
Please.
So
is it open? We have it open.
But one thing that I want to question is, I know you sent all through the information and you had a letter from your architect. The architect is self-certifying, which means that those plans that were submitted, the architect self-certified. The DOB did not come out and inspect.
In order to have a final CO, someone needs to walk through this.
No, they don't.
No?
Not when an architect.
You did.
Yeah,
It's in the middle.
I worked on it for 10 years, so.
Okay.
But when is that from, Susan?
Just ask me.
Yeah.
Susan, when is that from, Susan?
2015.
2015, but.
This is a final effective 2017.
But does it include the?
2017. It does.
I will print it out for you.
Does it have the backyard included?
I'm gonna print it out.
The backyard was built.
It's part of the approval of the whole thing. The inspector came and saw the whole thing.
Guys, let me just print it out so we don't worry about it.
If you look at the dates, the structure was built before 2017.
I can email that final CO as well if you'd like.
Print it out as we speak.
Well, yeah, I know you're.
It says, open space, type and number of open spaces not associated with this file. I'm getting it to you right now.
Because I think the issue was the letter that you submitted from your architect specifically stated it was self-certified, I think.
Right, and that was to get, right, the approval of I have all of the plans, right?
Yeah.
So I have the plans that were approved, and those plans predate the final CO. So in order to get that, the structure had already been built.
To answer your question, on all the application, the back was always approved. We have it on all the approved plans by DOB.
I believe you totally. I think they screw up a lot.
Yeah,
I know they screw up a lot, so that's why I'm trying to understand it. I'm not questioning you, I'm questioning DOB.
Yes.
So they're still saying that there's no open space associated.
No, but where is the approved plans by DOB stamps?
But that, again, that was self-certified by those last plans you submitted, and according to the letter that your architect submitted, it was self-certified.
Not his first application, when the original tenant built it in 2008 or 7.
The last ones were self-certified.
2007 was not self-certified. The original one, the
But that's not included on this from the DOB in 2017.
Yeah, the old ones are
They always refer the application base, if you see it on the applicant, they tell you based on application that was approved previously.
So
that's how they do it.
But so this one says no open spaces associated with this file.
What open space? Which
The
open
backyard.
It's not
The
open.
backyard is not open, it's enclosed.
Because it was illegally enclosed and it was
It's not
never,
illegal.
it was never approved.
It's not illegal, sir. It's 100% legal. We have tenants over there since 2007.
That doesn't mean it's legal.
It's legal. We
That
have
doesn't.
inspectors over there.
Where are the approved plans?
Where's
I sent the approved plans so there's 5 documents that were sent, and those are back.
Those are the ones that
They go back from
Plans that
2007.
show that everything is legit and approved. by
Between the
DOB.
last meeting and this meeting, I went back and found.
So
the approved
there's
plans from
already been-
2007.
So
They were sent
And
today
Daniel, those were sent in. I sent those in.
on Friday.
yeah, with the petition.
So there's already been a request made to the DOB to come out and do a final inspection. So if this is not correct, the DOB is going to, it's going to be discovered, I guess is the question.
I'm really not concerned because everything was done legit. It took me many, many years, me and my dad, everything is 100%.
Susan's gonna check the emails now.
I'm looking,
I have it on my email too,
I read through them and they're the same plans that were self-certified though. That's my question.
No,
They're
it's
self-certified by your
no.
architect, not approved by the DOB.
So I'll show you the first plan, and then the other plans show you, they indicate based on that application, the original one that was approved.
On those plans, they have DOB approved stamps.
Let's show
Right,
the
or
original
no.
one, the original one that was.
I have, there's like the case on
34
there.
pages of printing it out.
But yes, the DOB approved them because they were self-certified by the architect. That means the DOB didn't go and inspect them. They took the architect's word.
No, 100%, the last inspection that we got the final CO, you wouldn't get a final CO if the inspector doesn't come physically and walk the whole building.
Oh, no, that
including
happens.
the back. I do it many, many years. This is my business and I can tell you.
I'm not saying.
And I can tell you, listen, especially in that building, because we added floors to the top of the residential, it took us over 10 years to get the final CO. So I know every inch and approval of that specific building.
But what you were saying was this C of O, you said was the most recent that you pulled up on the computer with Susan. It still includes no open spaces, even though the
There's no
backyard
open space.
even though it's enclosed, it's still considered a backyard. It's
No, it's
considered
not
an enclosed
considered,
backyard.
it's not considered. an enclosed. I'll show it to you on the plan.
It's a very confusing thing, and we've dealt with this many times before, and we've seen the same thing. We've had someone that's came in, it was an enclosed backyard for 15, 20 years, and it turned out to be illegal. And it was the same similar
In
situation.
2017, when we got the final CO, the inspector came and went throughout the whole building, including the backyard, and he wouldn't have approved it. That was not legal. The city is very tough. They're not easy on us.
But they also make a lot of mistakes, and they take.
I doubt it, not when it's.
That's David.
I hate the DOB, they are completely incompetent. And I won't go into like I did last time. Do we need to?
But I guess- well, so,
do we
yeah.
need to determine this ourselves?
Well, no, we don't.
Okay.
The inspection's already been requested from DOB, so if it is illegal, it's going to come out in the end. Or it's gonna be correct, one of the two. But that's already happened. The inspection hasn't happened, but it's already been requested of the DOB.
I'm fine with that.
So,
Okay,
but
so this is everything that was sent, maybe.
I'm
maybe-
gonna try to run them, I don't really have time to read through 30.
I was gonna say, maybe.
I can just show you the one that was
maybe
approved, the
show you
original.
What it is that says it was approved.
I just flipped through it.
So, I mean, it's gonna be much easier to see on the PDFs, but these numbers.
You know this stuff. This is also what he does for a living. Yeah, till last month.
You don't keep and check?
No, I don't work directly with the DOB in that.
Everybody works with architects.
No, I mean, do you know Keven?
What?
You remember Keven check?
This
Yeah.
is still considered indoor now during the final
What about him?
inspection. It's not, there's an outdoor space, but we're not using an outdoor space.
No, that's the area where the fire escape is.
And an exit.
But this is indoor. This is all indoor. This is indoor.
And the proposed plumbing.
This is the original plan. He can show you the exact same condition where it is right now.
So I think what they're saying is at some point the outdoor was made indoor,
It was.
but we don't see that approved.
But I don't think the DOB ever approved that. That's-
Absolutely not. They
I'm-
did.
I know what you're showing.
Showing us where they approved the.
Yeah, I have the original plan here. Here,
I,
the
no, I
original.
don't want the original
We
plan,
know.
I wanted an alteration.
So I need to rein this in. So I think part of we're discussing this, and I think this is gonna be resolved by the DOB at some point. I think an inspection has been requested, as I said several times, so. But for me, so I'm gonna skip over this. For me, that is part of the issue of whether or not the backyard is legal. And I think the other determination, the other thing I asked last month, there's no second means of egress from the backyard.
There is.
Where is it?
There is. So right in here, this is an egress and you can get out. And then this door is open and it goes through. There is.
Where does that go through to?
So this is the building, like a residential building, and then there's an open door right here that opens.
But it's
and
exiting through a residential building. That's not an adequate second means of egress for DOB purposes.
This.
Exiting through another
No, you
residential.
have the also back door of store D. That's also another exit. Going through store D and through store C. You have two doors.
Yeah.
Store D has another door. This was all approved by the fire department. The fire department came there, this is not something, you're talking about over 20 years.
So it's gonna be resolved, but my main question or my main issue is you're adding, as you've heard us talk about saturated areas, this is a saturated area. We had an application come to us that we hesitantly agreed, they removed the live music, they reduced their hours. Something happened with that applicant, he withdrew his application, did not come back, and now you're here in front of us. I'm gonna speak for myself, not the other members of the committee at the moment. I cannot approve live music and an extension of hours till 2 AM in this location.
Would you be willing to meet me in the middle somewhere? I mean, there are a lot of places that have live music, and I think part of like the reason I really want to do this and want to do this is that there's a lot of live music at bars already, but they're subjected to just being background music. And it's like cool that there's a cute little jazz trio playing on the side. And rather than, we're not looking to play loud, crazy music. It's just going to be, they are going to be front and center because this is their life. This is their life. It's like, it's an art and it should be, it should be focused on rather than subjected to the back. And I think I would be happy to find some sort of middle ground if you'd be willing.
So for me, I'm less concerned about, and I understand there's commercial above, so I'm not as concerned in this case about the residents or the residences above, but it's just, this was previously up until a year or two ago, it was a full-fledged restaurant that closed at midnight. Did not have live music, it was not a cocktail lounge, it wasn't adding to that type of coming and going on the street. It was a different type of business. And even though what you're proposing may be a great business, I think what you've heard us say several times tonight is you picked the wrong location. I'm not willing to extend the use, which by extending the hours and adding live music and adding more, more activity. It's extending the use of the method of operation at this location in a saturated area. That is what I'm struggling with.
Yeah, I would just argue it's for public benefit. Like, I really think that this neighborhood is so rich historically and artistically, and a lot of that is dying and leaving, and you're not seeing a lot of stuff like that, and I just.
So just to correct you on that, in the last 3 months, we've had 2 other live music venues come to be approved in the same area.
For jazz?
Yes.
Cool.
So I understand what you're saying, and I've read the emails of support that you received, and I hear what they're saying, and I appreciate that. But, we do have other locations that are now popping up, and increasing to add these is going to then be more of a draw, so it's gonna just add to the problems we're already having in that area. That's my concern.
And, sorry.
David, go ahead.
Yeah, the 2 a.m. is unfortunate. But having live music isn't necessarily gonna cause a problem. There's 2 things that could be done. Lots of soundproofing and guaranteeing that we work with this kind of meter, et cetera. There could be, but there could be volume limited stuff onto the amplifier, so you actually can't make it too loud. I don't know how to describe how it's too loud. I mean, I understand it's not gonna be background level, but you could prevent it. We could write in there to prevent it being obnoxiously loud, like no entertainment level, but to the point where you're listening to the music, you're sitting there, which is what happens in a jazz club, legit jazz club.
To prove myself I'd be willing to keep the 12 and like push sessions earlier and try to find some in between, and we could keep the 12 a.m. license and just close that.
You can show that you're a good actor, and he can come back in a year or so and, reevaluate the hours.
If we were to approve something like that, you do have the right to come back after you've shown, as your attorney just said, after you've shown that you're a good operator, you're not causing problems, you're not adding to the chaos that is happening down there right now. You have the right to come back at any, after a period of time.
It's not a guarantee.
It's not a guarantee,
Right.
but you have that option to request that.
So could I ask, just to clarify, it is currently licensed?
Until midnight as a restaurant.
Okay, all right, but it's a liquor license. As we know, like SLA doesn't really draw distinctions, but it's till midnight. Okay, so it's currently liquor till midnight. Okay, well, I think that we could write in restrictions to prevent it from being entertainment level, rock level.
I mean, it's gonna be acoustic music in a room that is smaller than.
It's not acoustic if it's got amplification, period. Acoustic means unamplified.
Okay, so
If
is that
there's
what
an
you're?
amp in the sound system, that would be the system that would have some sort of sound limiter in it. I don't know exactly what that is.
Though,
We often put them on jukeboxes.
I think like the amplification, right, like a horn is not gonna have, we're not gonna like mic up horns, or we're not gonna mic up, ideally a piano that's just open, we're not gonna mic these things up, right? But if you have a guitar, it has to be plugged into an amp. If you're singing and you're singing next to a horn, you have to be plugged in as well, so you can be heard.
I would say on Orchard Street, the biggest problems are the late night crowds on the street. So if you're closing early, that alleviates that problem.
So if we're closed at 12 and get people out there earlier, like push, obviously you understand why, and you've heard why we want to be open later, and I also want to, understand that it is a problem and late night is a problem, but maybe if I can prove myself as an operator, if we can come to some compromise, if we start at 12 and come back and see how I do in here. I really do want to be a part of the community, and I think it could be.
Generally operating for 1 year.
Yeah. There's also going to be Venezuelan food. It's not like we're not having any sort of food. I think it's.
I don't know, what do we think, straw poll for approving with a midnight closing and some stipulations on the type of music and how that would happen?
I'm open to that.
David, it sounded like you were open to that. John?
Something that other applicants have not.
I'm not open to that. I would, again, I would approve it at another location, but I'm not open to it. The same thing. I mean, I literally just turned down a restaurant that rates to be in the Michelin guide.
Except this is a licensed location.
This is
Yeah,
licensed.
I understand. No, I understand it's a difference, but
That's the only.
So the SLA is gonna approve.
That's my cat. That's the thing that
And
makes me.
he really is willing to work. I mean, I rarely have clients that have done so much research and are willing to be accommodating. Say, look, I'm going to speak to the sound engineer and I'm going to do this and I'm going to, I mean, the amount of research and everything that that he is willing to do, I'm really confident that if you give him the opportunity to come back and say, you know, look, here's how things are going, he's dotting all his I's, crossing all his T's. I mean, this is a very well thought out plan, that with the intention of being a real value to the community. He is not looking to upset anyone. He's not looking to add something, you know, that's already there. He's looking to add value to the community and something that he sees as lacking. So I would give him a chance.
I don't believe we have complaints from the residents.
No, but it was a legitimate. It was an actual restaurant with a whole different crowd.
Yes.
But I would argue that this is also not the same crowd as like another kind of music venue. Like this is a jazz specific club. Like this is a very sophisticated group of people that's used to a certain kind of environment in which people are quiet and listening to music that is not very loud. It's not just like, I don't want to name other music venues, but like it's not, people aren't going here to party. People are going here to have an artistic experience.
To me, all this work, which I didn't understand the DOB stuff, it's beyond me, but to me, a lot of that indicates that they're willing to be good operators, and I think it offers something different and unique benefit.
It is true that jazz clubs operate exactly as you said. The first time I went to a jazz club was with my father, and there were some of the business partners there, and I had something I needed to talk about with my dad. I mean, he came to New York, and I was shushed repeatedly, and finally I realized, oh, you don't talk during the performances. I mean, sorry, just yeah, but
it's true. Okay, well, we need to move on from this. So.
So it doesn't need to be, I mean, so.
No, I.
What are we going to?
Give him a chance.
I'm willing to go with this, but you're gonna have some stricter stipulations. Because you're young, you don't have a lot of experience, and that also concerns me. And I love giving people chances, but not in the worst part of our community. That's my fear. You don't have a lot of history to stand on. You've never held a license. So we don't have that experience to look at. You've worked in places, but it's not been for a while. So that also factors in. And I understand your motivation and your willingness, but again, it's just, this is one of the worst areas in our entire community board. So that's the difficult. If you would have, as you've heard me say several times, if you would have picked a location in many other places, I would have not had any of these hesitations.
I hear you. I do hear you. I do also want to second that I think the crowd that this kind of stuff brings. We've put on multiple events.
And I do want you to be successful,
Yeah.
and having large crowds come, that's also my fear.
No, I'm saying that the kind of people that come, it has to be a small operation anyway. We're gonna have someone on line control at all times. There's that extra room that's gonna be a holding room. We'll have digital lines so no one stays outside.
Yeah.
Right? There's no outside line. Everything's gonna be closed.
And he can't have more than 49 people in the premises. That's it. Including the musicians and people that work there. So you're talking about a small crowd listening to jazz.
If we could move to.
Yes, that's what I said. I'm fine with this, but.
No outside lines.
So let's talk specifically, bring this to forward. Let's talk about the sound restrictions and get those solid. It might be things like number of musicians, kinds of musicians for which there were amplification versus really acoustic maybe.
The STIPS forms, or did you want the resolution? You said STIPS.
Oh, I was thinking the STIPS, because then we could fill in the sound resolution, which is always.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna share screen. Share. Okay.
Okay. So we have a standard Daniel Gaynor qualified a representative of Winhall Station LLC located at 154 Orchard Street. Will operate a full liquor, wine, and beer license. It will operate a bar tavern with a jazz club and lounge. Kitchen open and serving food all hours of operation. The hours of operation will be 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. all days and closed on Tuesday, is what you had mentioned. So that's still.
Yes, you have it there as we still have the old hours. So
Yeah, that's what I think she's just trying to get. There we go. She's just getting to the
I
editing.
was like, what? Okay, sorry, tell me the hours again.
It would be 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. and just you could put all days, because except, well, all days and closed Tuesday was what they had stated.
Okay.
And then you will not use outdoor space for commercial use, including open restaurants programs. You will, so you had checked off, I think previously, that you will employ a doorman or security personnel.
Yeah, well, I'm doorman.
So
Is that one, are you planning on one security person all nights, or
I mean,
what is your thought on that?
I mean, normally at these places, we like a doorman to have the ticket. It's like, hey, can you come in? It's, I mean, again, like it's not going to be rowdy and not going to be crazy. If you guys would feel more secure with someone on security, I'm happy to do that.
So here's a question there. Last month, and maybe I missed this on the change the application. Last month, I thought you said no events where cover fees were going to be charged.
Well, for jazz, I think when there's a transaction, right, people are more willing to focus and pay attention, and versus if you go in and there's no transaction, you go in and you just sit in the space and it feels more like a bar.
So you're gonna have ticketed events with scheduled start times, is that what? So that concerns me, because what that means is you have a group of people all coming at once and all leaving at once.
Right, which is why I would have, like, there's that other space. We have a group of people leave and then people.
They're leaving by 12, I mean, it's commercial.
You're right.
It's not like St. Mark's, which is residential.
Yeah.
It is commercial there, and they're leaving by 12.
Okay, so we're gonna say. So anyway, so you're gonna have one security person all days.
Would you like me to have security? I'll have a doorman.
Well,
Is that the
But
same
it's
thing?
doorman
It's the
slash
same,
security.
yeah.
Okay,
Same.
someone at the door, yeah.
Well, no, they're not the same.
But I'm here.
And we would need to then just send you an amended 30-day notice, because the SLA has really been harping on this. So yeah, it's a different requirement, and they need a different.
I'm not suggesting they have security, I'm just saying they're not the same.
Not.
And
They're not the same.
usually they have
It's got a slash
Thursday
there,
through
but-
Saturday.
Can we say doorman all days? And that'll eliminate the requirement that they have, the licensed security number and going back with the SLA.
So
Monitoring.
one all days.
Yes.
You will install soundproofing.
Definitely, absolutely.
And then we're gonna put, especially because you're having loud music, that I will install soundproofing to ensure no sound is audible outside of the premises or in nearby apartments.
Yeah, I have the numbers from two of the people who live in there on apartment 2 and 4. Rear face.
So, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I've had my own personal situation where I approved someone, not approved, but it was when I was a resident and I supported someone, same situation, it was hell for me.
Mhm.
And there was nothing I could do after they were there. I complained and complained, but
Right.
so.
So we also have it in our lease that he has to show us how he does the sound, and we want to secure, we don't want complaints.
So anyway, so I'm just saying, you can say that and they have your number and they're supporting you now, but once it's an issue, it's an issue.
I understand. I mean, I like.
So that's why we're putting the stipulation in there. You'll ensure no sound audible outside or in the residential apartments.
Yes,
Okay. You'll have a closed fixed facade with no open doors or windows.
definitely.
So you will not have DJs, but you will have live music, no third-party promoted events. You will have events at which a cover fee is charged. You will have scheduled performances.
Yeah.
Are you well, there were checked off no DJs. So are you planning on having private parties?
I mean, if someone wanted to book a band and have that back area and do it themselves, I would be open to that. I think it would definitely help stay alive. It's not a cheap operation, and I like to pay musicians too. So I'd like to have like private events. I don't know about like private parties.
So what we consider a private party, private event is an entire buyout
of the
space, the entire space.
Right, I mean, if it's limited occupancy, they would have that back area in the front, people could still order food and drink.
So that's not an entire buyout.
Not an entire buyout.
So that's not what we consider a private event. You would be having.
And you'll put one time per month.
Sure.
That at least your bases are covered and you don't have to worry about going it, if you're not likely to do it much anyway. So if you have it, at least you're covered and you're not in violation of your stipulations.
Okay, so now what we need to discuss is the type of music and the sound, etc. So what are you proposing when you're saying acoustic jazz, or is it's not acoustic? What's
We're
your
proposing the only difference between it being not acoustic is an amplifier for the bass, and an amplifier for the guitar, and an amplifier for a vocalist to be singing to a microphone. No horns would be mic'd. There would be no and it's with the intention of it filling a room that is smaller than this.
That's my question. In such a small space, do you need amplification?
I mean, for a vocalist, absolutely. For like, those are the three, and like guitar just needs an amp to be heard at all, and a bass is also very quiet. I'm also a bass player personally, but yeah. And then a vocalist, same thing. But again.
So are you proposing a singer and an accompanist, whether it's a piano or this? Are you proposing a 4-piece band? I mean,
I'm proposing that it would be. I'm doing the booking. I would hire somebody who would then, as a band leader, who would then, I wouldn't be telling them what instruments they would necessarily.
No, we're not. I mean, we're not necessarily saying what specific instruments, but like, are you thinking 3 pieces? Are you thinking a 6-piece band?
It would never be more than 6 people. I would absolutely.
6 people is a lot.
It would most of the time be between 3 to 5, and most of the time 3 to 4. And
most of the time,
yes.
We limit it to 3 people. We limit it to 3.
But it's like I can't have you can't have.
But even where we've had jazz clubs and music, we've limited them to.
It depends. I mean, if there's a jazz trio playing on the side and people are having Mother's Day brunch, that's a different animal. I mean, 6 instruments sounds pretty reasonable, I think.
And that would be quite rare. If you wanted to put a limitation of 6 instruments, capped at 2 times a month, for example,
We're not gonna bet books.
it would be very. I mean, it's not really affordable to book a 6-person band.
Can you say, I don't know if this is appropriate, but like electrified instruments and amplification for the vocalist?
Yeah, I would say for sure we should say amplification, since that's what they proposed, to say amplification limited to bass/guitar and vocalist. It is true. I mean, I can play guitar and nobody can hear me if I'm not amped.
So
even though I'm playing acoustically, it is amped.
Live music will be limited to no more than, in that line. Live music will be limited to no more than 6 pieces. It's not pieces. 6
people.
6 people pieces. It's not pieces. It's 6
people. Yes.
Performers.
Yeah.
6 performers. Do we want to go further? Do we need to go further than that?
Yeah, because it's different to say the instruments are amplified as opposed to having a band,
I would say and amplification limited to bass/guitar and vocalists.
We're getting into really fine details here that the SLA.
Yeah, I mean,
the SLA isn't going to.
Yeah, no, but
I know.
it would be good to have it here in case if they start amplifying trumpets. Then you would want to be able to say it.
But we have the sound limited. That sound is not to be audible outside of space. So So part of what I'm thinking is how much more specific. If we have it limited to the sound can't be heard outside the space.
Yeah.
Do we care?
And then does it? Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Do we care?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
pretty.
Because I would also argue that maybe certain instruments unamplified would still be loud.
I'm leaning, even though I was the one being the hardest about, stickler about this. We have it limited that there's no sound audible outside of space. I'm starting to think, I don't care what you do with the sound inside.
I mean, maybe, I'm just gonna counter argue, which is easier to prove when there's a violation happening.
if their sound is
It's-
outside.
They don't, yeah, they're not gonna go in. No DEP inspector is gonna go in and see.
And check the
where-
instrument.
See which instrument is that.
And neither is the SLA. If sound is outside, they can hear that and they're gonna say that's a violation, but they're not gonna say, you have 3 trumpets instead of 2 or whatever.
So I'm
the
gonna
limit is.
just remove this.
Okay, so just say, well,
Simple, sounds good.
but we do wanna say,
I think it's better to be simple.
I do think we should limit, I agree with the live music is limited to 6 pieces, 6 people.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
I just removed. it.
Okay, so is that sufficient? Does everyone feel comfortable with that if we're saying, you know, we limited it to no DJs, no third-party promoted events, 1 private party per month, sorry. And then live music is limited to no more than 6 performers.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not gonna check off, I will play ambient background recorded music only because, yeah.
Actually, I should move that then.
And then, yeah, I put that on, maybe just put it up on this, even on that line, since
Okay.
that's where we talk about live music, so, yeah, that's perfect. And then, so we're not gonna check off ambient background recorded music only. You will not apply for an alteration without coming before CB3 first. It's already full of P. You'll not participate in pub crawls or party buses. You will not have unlimited drink specials, including boozy brunches with food. You will have a happy hour and a when by 7:30, I think was what you had in your application. You will not have wait lines outside, and you will have a staff person responsible for ensuring no loitering, noise, or crowds. You will conspicuously post a stipulation beside your license, and residents may contact the owner at the number below. And
You want yours, remind me your name, because I.
Daniel.
Without scrolling.
Daniel,
Okay, yeah.
Daniel Gaynor, G-Y.
Right, yeah, now I remember, I just like, first name.
And then,
Okay, what's your number?
703
Mm-hmm.
687 7554.
okay,
Nothing extra.
no, do we need to put in here? I don't think we do, but anything pending DOB approval, I mean, that happens regardless of us, so.
Yeah, you know, I think that's just something we'd have to work with this DOB separately, and right now they kind of
They're
lost.
with the SLA, like, they're not gonna follow up on the DOB approval of.
Yes, no, I would, yeah, it's not for the SLA.
SLA doesn't care.
Yeah, so, okay, everyone okay with this as it stands? Anything else to add, change, or?
Just continue to
Yeah.
stay good.
Okay, so,
I would want to make a comment that if you behaved well for a year and then you came back and you wanted to have scheduled performances and got out at 2 a.m., I would have a problem with that, to be honest, because that's going to wind up adding to the problem in the neighborhood.
And
So
if-
like it's up through, so like if it's up through midnight, I can understand that because you're not seriously adding to the problem. But if you have a scheduled performance that's ending at 2 a.m., I'm sorry, that's a problem. That's what we're trying to say. So those are things that we're trying to avoid.
so you have the right to come back, but
Right.
that doesn't mean,
Like, that's different than trying to extend the license without, we can still say scheduled performances end at midnight, but we're open till 2 a.m. That's a different discussion.
So that would be a different discussion, but I would say if you
Yeah.
said you had just scheduled performances are ending at 2, I'd be like, no
yes,
way.
that would be a different discussion.
Yeah, we wouldn't, I think the only music that would, okay, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
it's not gonna happen, and
Yeah.
if we have that conversation.
Deal with that later down the
It
road.
will be with smiles in the ear.
Okay. Okay, so do we have a motion for the stipulations as we've just read? And, well, let me just confirm, from the applicant, Kimberly, are you okay with
Yes.
stipulations as presented?
And thank you very much.
Okay,
So I move that we approve this.
David moves, Sarah seconds.
And I also say that I would also have a problem with extending hours almost under any conditions next year. So just, let me know in case your business plan involves expanding.
Okay, so that being said, we will move to a vote. Sarah?
Yes.
David Crane?
Yes.
Clint Smeltzer? Yes. John Fout?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. So we will send these stipulations to you within the next day or so. They will actually go to Kimberly. She knows the drill. We will get them to you, get them back to us, and we will move on forward. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Yes, we have,
I appreciate it.
one more. We have 183 Bowery.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Have fun.
Okay, we have 183 Bowery, which we do not have anyone here in front of us in person. But it looks like I know Michael Kelly, I think, is in Zoom.
You still there?
Yeah, he's here.
Okay,
Still
so
getting hand raised.
please raise your hand if you are here for item number 10, Clown Car LLC, 183 Bowery. I see Michael.
Still
here. Matthew Weber's with me?
Yep, we are getting you all in here.
Is Deborah an applicant or?
She's public. She's
Oh, Deborah.
she's a community board member, actually.
Okay.
She's actually a community board member. but
Okay, we're
still.
gonna wait for you. It's not your turn yet.
Okay, so I'm gonna give a quick summary here, and then we're gonna add this, allow you to add anything to change. Clown Car LLC is seeking a full OP on premises located at 183 Bowery, located between Delancey and Spring. It's an application for a bar tavern with 24 tables, 71 seats with and I didn't see in the application the lengths of your bar. Do you happen to know offhand? And I can move on, fill that in, but with 16 seats on the first floor and another blank bar with 14 seats on the second floor. It's less than a full service kitchen serving food all hours with 1 TV, live music and recorded background music. Live music will be a singer-songwriter and acoustic band 4 nights a week that will be advertised on the website. There are 30 full on-premises licenses within 500 feet. This was a location that was previously previously operated as a restaurant supply store and was unlicensed. The applicant currently holds 5 licenses with 3 previous licenses since 2005. We received 1 letter in opposition to this application. 43 residents who live within 2 blocks of the location signed a petition in favor of the application. They are proposing hours of operation from 4 p.m. all days, closing at 2 p.m. Sunday to Wednesday, and 4 a.m. Thursday through Saturday.
Closing 2 a.m.
Closing at, 2 a.m. Sunday through Wednesday, and 4 a.m. Thursday through Saturdays. So, Michael, Matthew, do you have anything you would like to add or change, or?
I'm gonna go first, Matt.
Up to you, Mike.
So, yeah, we're the only tenant in this solely commercial building. The Citizen M Hotel is behind us on the Bowery. Commercial building next to us on Delancey. Matt has 61 years in cumulative liquor license experience with 1 SLA violation for an employee checking IDs without a security guard license. He was the doorman. Matt has 5 current licenses and has had 8 in total. As you said, we got signatures of support. We posted in numerous locations. Matt went around talking to people canvassing the area. He's a very professional operator. He'll be bringing activity to a dark corner, which provides security. He's making a large investment in the community and hiring experienced people from the area who've worked in the Lower East Side. We'll have acoustic music, which will set a quiet, mellow ambiance. Matt will be having staggered closing hours, meaning sections of the premise will close at different times, so everyone doesn't leave at once. This has worked very well in his other locations, and Matt will take over from here.
Good evening, guys. I'll try to make this quick. I know it's been a long evening. I just wanted to say that my entire business career has been out in Brooklyn, but I'm a born and raised Manhattanite, and it is a dream of mine to open in this spot. I used to buy restaurant equipment from Mr. Chang for the last 20 years of my time there. And when I saw this location available, I got very excited. It's such a unique space in the sense that you have the Bowery Ballroom, you have the M Hotel, you have no residents. It's an incredibly loud corner with traffic. I feel like I would make no negative impact at all in the community. It's a very important concept for me. I talked to the Bowery Alliance of Neighbors. I've talked to people on the street. There is no such thing as a good business that doesn't respect your neighbors. And I have pride myself on having first-class businesses my entire working career. And I look forward to making 183 work in the same way. Have any questions for me, please?
I did have just 2 quick questions I think I asked earlier. I don't know, did you happen to find the lengths of the bars, Michael?
I'm sorry? I think the one on the first floor is approximately 20 feet. The one on the second floor is approximately 21 feet.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. I just need that for the resolution. Okay. Okay, anything else you want to add or correct or change? If not, we're gonna move, I think we have a couple people from the public here to speak. We're gonna go ahead and start with Deborah Glass.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity for me to speak. I am a resident. I live at Forsyth and Delancey, and I would like to state my opposition to the granting of a new liquor license to an unlicensed location. I appreciate that this gentleman has a track record of operating drinking establishments throughout Brooklyn. This Lower East Side community cannot afford yet another bar along what is rapidly becoming an expanding corridor of bars and hotels in this community. The corner where this owner seeks a license is in a previously unlicensed location. It's a busy intersection with hotels, bars, and restaurants surrounding what is a congested area. The location is also adjacent to a very troubled park, which does not need yet another bar to draw the additional challenges that come along with an establishment whose primary purpose is serving alcohol. It's never been licensed before, period. It's not a restaurant. Its sole purpose is as a bar. People won't be coming for the food. It has an extremely limited menu. Already in that block, there is the concert hall, there is a tequila bar, there is a restaurant. Next to this location, Citizen M Hotel has multiple bars. Across the Lancey, Cell Rose is a restaurant that has a full liquor license. Around the corner, the Moxie Hotel has several bars. CB2 has licensed establishments one block away. The Butcher's Daughter restaurant serves alcohol. Another restaurant, presumably with alcohol, is under construction next door at 19 Kenmare. There's a place that's selling cannabis. Kamika Restaurant is also on Kenmare Street. So my question is, what is the public benefit? What will you bring to the community except additional congestion, safety concerns around the park and the Bowery subway station, and more folks walking along this Delancey and Bowery corridor that is becoming an oversaturated, it looks like the boardwalk. Our community is already overrun with liquor licenses. I understand that you have multiple establishments. I would urge you, if you want to expand your empire, to look for a community or a neighborhood that would welcome the addition of a bar. This would fill a need. And earlier this evening, I heard somebody say, we need bars. I don't know who it was. Maybe you want to have a conversation with that person. Adding another license to this oversaturated area would disregard the safety, well-being, and quality of life of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Looks like we have a couple, I think there's Michelle Campo. I'm gonna promote you, Michelle. And I also see Mitchell. We're gonna go ahead and promote you, Mitchell. Michelle, if you wanna go ahead and unmute yourself, I think we've promoted you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Michelle.
Joy. Hi, good evening. Yes, I did speak with Matt the other day, and however, and thank you, Deborah. I think the Bowery Alliance of Neighbors, of which I represent, and the Bowery Block Association are also not in favor of this. As was pointed out, it's a totally saturated area. You're talking about the establishments just on the other side of the Bowery. There are a whole lot on the west side of the Bowery as well. And Citizen M, I think I sent an email to Clint showing a video from the other night. It's insane. It's just totally insane. It blocks the whole sidewalk. And I don't know. It was said that, I think, Matt, you said that people don't live in the area. Well, you're wrong about that one. I mean, I've lived here most of my life, as many people that I know. And there are people on the Bowery on either side. There are people on a Kenmare. There's one tall building on Delancey, I'm sorry, just up the block from you. And when the Bowery Ballroom, also I'm going to be skipping along here, when the Bowery Ballroom has they're open for an event performance, there's a line that goes from the Bowery Ballroom up the Bowery to Rivington. This is really congested. Doesn't need to be added to. There's another license just up the block between Bowery and Christie. And as far as this corner being dark, it is anything but dark. I know, I look at it all the time. And the only little bit of peace that is there is in the little plaza by Citizen M, and that's only at certain times of day, and that's pretty well kind of lit. If you have people coming to, and I don't understand the difference between it's amplified and it's acoustic. It's one or it's the other. You can't have the two, do not mesh together. Okay. And as for
You just start.
people,
If you could start wrapping up, Michelle, please. Thank you.
I'll try to talk faster, but I've been waiting so long, my lips are kind of not working well. If you have people coming out of a bar and they're fairly inebriated, you have a lot of people who are going to come and kind of commit crime upon them. You know, we've just gotten kind of calmed down from that. We don't want to go back there. Really, we don't. I don't want to go back there. It was better with the old alcoholics. They went in at night. Now everybody comes out at night, okay? And as for traffic, is insane. It is totally insane. There is no peaceful time at that intersection. Adding something into that intersection would be just beyond the pale.
Okay, if you could really start wrapping up, Michelle, because we have still Mitchell to go through, so.
Okay.
If you have anything else new that hasn't been said.
I'll pop up again.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna move on to Mitchell.
Yeah, I'm Mitchell Grubler. I represent the Bowery Block Association and I live on the Bowery. I want to reiterate that this is a never licensed location.
Right.
And the clown car is going to be a huge 2-story bar. You heard that the bar on each floor is 20 feet, plus its usual standing room capacity. I myself have witnessed the line from the next door Bowery Ballroom. And in fact, it does go down to Lancey Street and around the corner and up the Bowery. I don't know how this establishment is going to deal with that. And this Bowery Ballroom closes at 2 o'clock. So at the very least, I would ask that you establish 2 a.m. on the weekends as the closing time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mitchell. Okay, I don't see anyone else here to speak. So we're going to give the applicants a chance to quickly respond to what you just heard.
Sure. Thank you, Ms. Glass. Thank you, Ms. Campo, and Mitchell. So I think the number one issue for me as an operator over the years is noise and quality of life of the neighbors. That is the issue. The size of the location, there's all sorts of ways to mitigate traffic. There's all with the proper guys at the front door, you move people along in an organized fashion. You can do a staggered closing. This space being on a corner is such a unique opportunity to do that. I can close the front, I can close the upstairs an hour and a half before. You move people in an organized fashion. The door guys say, thank you very much. Now please go on to your next destination. This has been a very, very effective tool because in the end, it's about noise. In the end, it's about your quality of life. Is this establishment not letting you sleep, not giving you, congesting your streets? And I feel very confident that in this location, on this corner, I could mitigate those problems. Thank you.
Okay, so I have a quick question for you. On your application, oh, Michael, did you have anything? Did I cut you off? Okay, my question for you is on your application, you have a, for the C of O is pending the certificate of occupancy change. But you are requesting a public assembly permit, so what is your expected occupancy?
74 floor.
Does that mean public assembly?
Means 75, right?
Oh, but even 70, 74, 75, does that need a public assembly permit if it's
75 does.
Yeah, so if it's if it's 74 per floor, you don't need a public assembly permit.
Yeah, it's for the business though,
I
right?
think it's the entire,
Yeah, it's the entire place.
It's,
entire-
Okay, that was my,
yeah, it's all together. If it's over 75 for the whole.
for the whole space, it's not per floor. Okay. So you're roughly 150 people.
That's right.
Okay. On the application, you also did not check off events which covers are charged and scheduled performances, which based on what you said, you're planning on having, you know, musicians, acoustic, I think, how did you describe it? Acoustic. Sorry.
Yes.
Yes, they would be advertised when they're having shows. That who's gonna be playing. So that would be a scheduled performance.
Yeah, you have live singer-songwriter with acoustic band shows 3 to 4 nights a week. So my question is too, I think you were proposing 2 security? Is that?
No, I'm sorry. If that's what I put, that's a mistake. This business would have 2 security.
Yeah. You have listed 2 security 7 days a week is what you had listed.
2 each floor. Excuse me if I made a mistake there.
So 2 each floor, and then I mean, is that total? Is that including, are you having doormen? Are you having?
Absolutely. I think the key to a business is an ID of someone who checks IDs for legal purposes and to keep an eye on the street. And I think my experience in this business is when you have a doorman at the door, it mitigates all sorts of crime and weird situations that happen outside. He can also make people move along. It's crucial for a business, in my opinion. So yes, there's absolutely always going to be someone at the door. And then I would like 2 people upstairs just to move people through. And then, and probably on the weekends, another person on the main floor.
So wait, so you just said 2 people per floor, but now you said 2 people on the second floor and another person on the ground floor.
And a guy at the front door. So 4 altogether.
Okay, so 1 on the ground floor plus a doorman plus 2 upstairs.
Correct.
An extra person on weekends.
And an extra person on weekends.
No, I believe 4 would be the extra person would be on the.
And then,
yeah.
Are you only using? I know you mentioned the 2 entrances though. Would you have? I mean, what are you proposing for people coming and going? Are you?
The main entrance for coming in, there will not be a dual entrance. That's madness. That never works. Okay. But the door next to the Bowery, that exit will definitely be a exit only, emergency exit only door. Yes.
So the door on the Bowery will be an exit only. The main entrance will be on the Delancey side.
Wait, is it exit
No,
or?
the other way on the Bowery, where Mr. Chang now has his entrance is going to stay that way. And then down towards the Bowery Ballroom.
Okay, when you said, you meant Bowery Ballroom, but that's on the Delancey Street side.
Right.
Okay, so that would be an exit only.
That's
emergency exit or real exit.
Is that an emergency exit or an exit that people would be leaving?
I would have it not, no, I did not mean, I misspoke there. I have an exit that you cannot regain access to. You understand?
But it would be on a regular basis, not just as an emergency.
But then they need a doorman there too, for security there.
Yes, absolutely. If when people are exiting, you have to make sure that they don't hang out and smoke cigarettes and make the neighbors crazy. You got to have someone there.
That's another person though. That's another person.
Yes.
But they'll have 2 other security guards on the first floor. So one of them would be watching that door?
Yep.
So one's watching the front door, one's watching the back door.
And watching the customers inside, of course, yes.
They can't, how do they watch the front door, back door, and the customers inside?
Because we have earpieces and they can talk to each other and communicate what they see. And that's coordinated with me, the manager on site.
There are 4.
What?
There are 4.
I know 2 are upstairs. Two are upstairs and two are. I just think you need someone by the exit. If you have a large place, you need someone where they're
They're
exiting.
saying
and make
someone
sure
at
they
the
keep
exit,
going.
someone at the front.
Yeah,
He did say that.
yeah, he said that. But I think what she's saying is then if there's an exit in the front, who's watching the inside?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't do the front and inside at the same time.
Well, what we do in those situations is that the communication through earpieces, one of the guys from upstairs comes downstairs for that 5 minutes where if there is an issue. That's how I've done it in the past.
Okay. So I guess, but they're watching the doors. You don't have someone, you mentioned you would have someone controlling the crowds outside, moving people along. If they're watching the doors and the door and the blind floor, are they really able to really pay attention to what's going on the sidewalk outside?
Well, here's my suggestion. My suggestion is, and this can be a stipulation or a conversation, but if there is an issue, I will fix it. I mean, I have no desire to have the neighborhood frustrated with my presence. And it's not good for business. I want to open a local bar that attracts local people from the neighborhood. And if I am in any way disrupting that neighborhood, I will add who I need to add. I will fix the situation. I will add another person or two people, whatever it will take to fix the situation if a problem arises.
And we appreciate that, but here's my one concern, and I thought about this before, but it was mentioned by one of the speakers, I think it was Michelle or Deborah. When the Bowery Ballroom does have shows, the line goes down the street and it does go up Bowery. I've seen it. So that's going to be an issue for you, is it not?
I've watched it. I've watched it carefully over the last couple of years. I think that there's a way, again, with the right training of your staff, I don't see any problem. And the Bowery Ballroom guy is a very nice gentleman. I've talked to him when I canvassed the area about what to do about the situations. He says there's all sorts of things he can do better than he's been doing. It's just that there hasn't been a business next to him, so he hasn't worried about it. But I have no doubt he seems like a reasonable gentleman who wants to do good work. So I don't see any way we won't be able to work out a problem. If there is obstruction or congesting, and Ms. Campo is worried about congestion, I think we can definitely fix that.
And I noticed on your application, you did not check off, I will not have wait lines, which to me indicates you're planning on having a wait line. So if your wait line and the Bowery Ballroom has a wait line, to me, that sounds chaotic.
The Bowery Ballroom's main wait line is for their shows, and their shows are earlier in the evening.
Okay. So, but to answer the question, are you planning on having wait lines?
I don't anticipate this being that kind of place. I picture this being a much more of a lounge, relaxed atmosphere. If a problem arises in which we're worried about occupancy, then we will address it immediately and do it in the most delicate way possible.
Are you willing to agree not to have wait lines?
Let's have stipulations for no wait lines.
Well, the only reason why I don't want to say wait lines is I can't break the law with occupancy. So I can't just allow people in. I can tell people, sorry, you can't come in and not have a wait line. But then what happens is that they then smoke cigarettes outside and they congregate. And I've noticed in my experience, that's more frustrating to the neighbors than an organized quiet.
That's what the doorman is responsible for, is saying, you got to move along. You can't wait here and smoke out here. We have to keep the sidewalk clear.
That's right. That's right. And that's how I will approach it. Yes.
So are you willing to agree to no wait lines? Because I think that sounds to be a concern, definitely from the neighbors, but also it was something that I was thinking of as well.
Well, it's also something we do with every license. We have no wait lines for every license.
If the community board feels this is a decisive issue, then I will absolutely figure out how to not have that. I will just say for the record, though, that a well-organized, quiet wait line of 5 or 10 people, which I can't imagine would be more than that, but if it was, is a way better situation than when you are trying to scoot people, kids, 25-year-olds, 35-year-olds who are now figuring out, oh, we can't go here. We got to figure out where else they're going. They get on their phones, they're waiting for their Ubers. I just want to say that my experience in this business, a little very organized, carefully placed wait line is actually a better mode for the neighborhood than just saying, you guys can't be here.
Not our experience. It's not our experience. Sometimes you can take numbers and then people come back. But our experience is that weight lines are a problem.
That's a good point. I've never done that, but that's a good point.
Our experience is that, weight lines are a problem.
Okay, so we're closing in on 10 p.m. So I think thank you for your patience in staying through this time. Not that you really had a choice, but so I did hear the concerns of the residents. What I'm going to say is, part of our guidance from the community board is these type of venues of this size and of this type of a club, large crowds, we generally have encouraged and specified that they would be located on the avenues and in these type of locations. I did hear what the residents said earlier, and there are people that live around here, and we've had other issues further up on Bowery. I know this is already allowed in Congested Corner, but I feel like if it's gonna go anywhere, this would probably be the location for it. I know I'm probably gonna get some backlash for that, but I just think this is the place for it. So I'm leaning towards saying this is something that I think we could work with. Does anyone have any other thoughts?
This is zoned for this.
Yes.
These are the two largest roads in the district, the intersection. So I actually also agree, but I do want to talk about, if we could, what's the live music?
Yes, that
Is
will-
4 AM, is 4 AM necessary? But otherwise, I also agree.
Sarah, John?
I'm good. I agree with you.
How many licenses are in this area? I mean, considering that it's 2 community boards.
There are 30 plus.
counted 30.
And how many are quite close? I mean, Deborah listed quite a few, and some of those are large venues as well.
The thing is, we cannot say you can't, everybody, we're not gonna have any new licenses in unlicensed spots. The best we can do is to say, we're not gonna have them in certain residential areas that are oversaturated on small, narrow streets and we said to 2 other people tonight, we would support you in another location. Well, if this isn't the location we would support, where is it?
No, I understand,
And being practical, the SLA is gonna give the license. They listen.
I'm just talking out loud and thinking, that's all.
So,
I'm trying to figure out.
just to answer your question, there's only, counting Citizen M Hotel, which does have several bars
Well,
in it. That's
the
next,
hotels are different,
yeah, that's next door, but it's really the Bowery Ballroom. And then it's across the street. So there's really 2 across the street, across Delancey. And then
I'm not sure that the place on the corner, the south
Rose,
east corner, I'm not quite sure. In the last year, I'm confused if they are still operating. Have you guys noticed if they've been operating? Stripe is-
I was
Yeah.
wondering about literally on the block.
It's the area for it.
yeah, so So I understand the point that there are 30 within 500 feet, but in this immediate block, there really are only a couple. So I think we're all on the same page with that. So it sounds like we're heading toward the direction of where we're ready to approve, or we are ready to make a motion to approve with stipulations, and we'll discuss what those are going to be.
Yeah, I definitely would go without some stipulations.
No, we'll have to. So.
Won't do anything with
Yeah.
stipulations.
So.
Can you ask about 4 AM?
Yeah. So I know you're proposing hours of. You're proposing hours of 2 AM Sunday to Wednesday and 4 AM Thursday to Saturday. I think the question is, David's asking if the 4 AM hours on the weekend, if there's any room with that.
Well, one thing I'd just like to throw, just to remind, this staggered closing really is a fantastic tool and it really works. And if you can give me 4 on the weekends, I can close the upstairs an hour and 15 ahead, which allows us to organize and quietly and with efficiency, get people out in a staggered way. That's so much better than when you call last call at 1:30 and then you've got, 75 kids out on the street at the same time. I mean, it's very hard to organize that from a security point of view. So I asked for the weekends for 4 because I believe it's actually going to make the situation better for the neighborhood, not worse.
You put the standard, would you put the standard steps in the stipulations?
Sure.
Yeah. Would you, I mean, that's.
Upstairs by.
I mean, do we want to say you would, I mean, do we want to be that specific and say the upstairs will be closed at a certain time, downstairs will be closed at 4 AM?
Yeah, I honestly, it's the only rational way for me to do the job. So I have no problem with that stipulation.
So would you be willing to say the upstairs close it 2?
I would like an hour. I'd like an hour to be able to get people out. So on the weekend.
3, downstairs close at 4.
Yep.
Does that?
Can we do that at 2 and 3? It does reduce by 1 hour. If you would do that at 2 and 3, I'd be happy.
So that would be, just so I understand, you're saying Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the downstairs would be 3 AM and the upstairs will be 2 7 days a week. Do I have that correct?
Yes.
Okay, if that makes people feel safer with me, then absolutely.
Okay. Can you bring the stipulation?
Yeah.
So as a license would say 4 AM closing, and then we'd have an additional, like, since they're saying that on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
No, it would say 2 AM closing.
3 AM.
Yeah,
2 AM all days. The whole building, 2 AM all days. The downstairs would be 3 AM on Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
and it was
So
last
the
night.
license will actually say 3,
Yes,
but the stipulations will say 2 AM for the upstairs.
closing, the staggered closing starting at 2 AM with the upstairs.
Sorry.
SLA doesn't do standard hours.
Yeah.
So I should say staggered.
Well, say opening no later than 4 PM all day.
Do we have that?
Yep.
Oh,
And then-
sorry. I'm on screen share.
Sorry, we're gonna share the stipulation so you can see it as well.
Sorry. Okay. So opening no later than 4 PM all days and closing by 3 AM.
Yeah.
Come back.
What about, are these the ones that didn't show the first time?
No,
Okay.
we'll ask them again, but I don't see
3
anyone
AM
else here.
Sunday to Wednesday.
So we
and
need to vote on
with-
it.
This is what happened last month. Same thing happened
Sunday
last
through
month. This is the
Wednesday?
same one that didn't appear last month.
So we
Right,
need to
right,
do.
you're right. 2
Yeah,
AM,
with-
2 AM Sunday through Wednesday.
Oh, 2 AM? I thought you were saying 3 AM.
No, that's on Thursday.
Oh, right, sorry. 2 AM, sorry, and then, sorry, 3 AM. Sorry.
Getting out at midnight was a good thing.
Oh, what happened?
3 AM, 3 AM, Thursday, Saturday.
Right.
Upper floor
People show up.
closing at 2 AM, right?
Right, so let's say with a staggered closing, with the upper floor, starting with the upper floor closing at 2 AM. Let me think that'll be.
Put some of this on a different line, because it's really small.
Yep.
Okay.
Is that clear? I know it's kind of annoying that's broken, but.
What happens with the job?
Okay, what else?
still
Okay, so
going on, sadly.
we are going down.
Yeah. Actually,
So that's the hours. Well, we started talking about the hours before, but we might as well just go through the stipulation form.
hopefully we'll get.
So it's gonna be Matt Weber, qualified representative of Clown Car,
There's so many few.
Inc. Sorry, I spaced out a second, but located 183 Bowery, will operate a bar tavern with less than a full service kitchen, open and serving food during all hours. We just went through the hours. So it's 4 p.m. all day, 2 p.m. Sunday through Wednesday, Thursday through Saturday, 3 a.m. with the upstairs closing at 2. You will not use outdoor space for commercial use. You will employ doormen, security personnel. So we discussed this already, but it hasn't been updated in stipulation. So you're gonna say 2 security personnel per floor.
We don't want to say 4, just
Why don't we
4.
why don't we just say 4 total, just so we don't.
4 total.
So that included.
Yeah, 4 total. And then you did say, let's say 4 total, but you did say if, I forget how we worded it, but if crowds become a problem, you would add additional as needed.
Absolutely.
And then obviously it's a restaurant supply store, so you will install soundproofing.
We are going to do extensive work in there, and soundproofing is definitely one of the things we're doing, yes.
Okay. You will have a closed fixed facade.
Yes.
Okay, so this was one thing I was gonna ask. I think on your application, you checked off that you will not have DJs. So I just found it, I mean, and that might be correct, but in this kind of space, you're not planning on having DJs?
We're not planning on having a dance floor. So it's that's a whole other business that I don't like and don't understand. So it's not a club in any way. What we may have at some point is, somebody who comes, sort of like what the gentleman a couple whiles ago said, like there'll be somebody who comes and plays some CDs, or some of the bartenders might.
That's not, we wouldn't have to discuss that. We don't consider that a DJ, so. But yeah, I just wanted to clarify that when you said no DJs, so no DJs, but you are having live music, which we'll discuss in just a moment. You will not have third-party promoted events, but you will have events with a cover, and you will have scheduled performances.
Yes, and those will only be upstairs.
Okay, we can add that too. We'll add that in the line below. So you had in your description that live music will be a singer/songwriter and acoustic band 4 nights a week, and that will be advertised on your website.
Yes.
And so so when you're saying acoustic, as you heard what we just discussed, you're talking completely acoustic with no amplification?
No amplification, no. The only thing that might be amplified is the vocalist.
So you need to put that.
So acoustic.
Sort of like how you guys at the bitter end, how the bitter end will have basic, it'll be like that.
The live music will be an amplified singer-songwriter and acoustic band 4 nights a week on the upper floor only, and will be advertised on their website.
Perfect.
Now, the one thing that you didn't check off, and I just wondered, are you planning on private parties or like a full buyout everywhere you'd be fully closed?
No, there'll never be a full buyout. There very easily could be the upstairs if someone wanted to, have a record listening at party or something.
Yeah, I guess technically, if you're talking about, if you were doing a whole floor, that would be like, normally we say if it's a small portion of your space, but a whole floor, I think would kind of count for us as a buyout.
Well, I don't imagine, I've had very few of them in my life, other than maybe a birthday party here and there. But honestly, is it a problem for the community board? Is it a problem? Is that
I don't think it's a major problem if we just put it in now. So that's, if you're saying it will be infrequent, you can pick, 4 per year, 6, or I don't know what number.
Why don't we say 1 a month just to play it safe?
Okay, so.
Could be a candidate fundraiser.
And it would be one private party per month.
Maximum.
Not more than 1 private party per month. Do you want to say second floor only if we were to?
I can't imagine how I could operate it downstairs. That would be so weird. So, I mean, they work upstairs. Yeah.
Well, party for the whole thing is a whole different than just half floor.
Yeah, no, it would be upstairs only. You can put that in.
So your sound level, when you're saying acoustic, is it ambient level or is this gonna be entertainment level?
I think it will be entertainment level, but the neighbors on the street, you will not hear. When we're done with this place, there is going to be nothing you will hear.
That's one thing we need to put under, you said you would install soundproofing, but we do need to add, are you okay with adding, I will install soundproofing to ensure that no sound is heard outside of the venue?
Outside the venue, absolutely, sure, of course. I mean, the only thing I can't mitigate is when the door opens to allow a customer in or out. Other than that, I can completely control the sound of the space.
Okay.
So it worries me a little when I see language that's specific, because other than the door opening and closing, you may hear something, you might hear people laughing, and I can't guarantee when the door opens and closes, but we will not leave the door open ever. And when the doors are closed, this will not be a noisy venue.
That's fine. Okay, so you're not applying for an alteration without coming to CB3. You will not participate in pub crawls or party buses. You will not have unlimited drink specials. You will have a happy hour.
I've never had any success with happy hours. Is it something that if we find
happy hours are something that's not a big issue for us?
All right, well, can we stay till 8 p.m.? I mean, I've never done one. I've never found them effective, but can we keep it?
We'll have happy hour that will end by 8 p.m.
May have a happy hours.
Yeah, sorry. May have, well, I mean, our language is have a happy hour.
We don't want to say they have to do it.
Yeah.
Not required, but if.
Sure.
And then where do we land on the weight lines? I know we went back.
We have one quick, I know you guys are tired, but one quick thing about the weight line. Would it be possible to put you guys agree to a stipulation that said no more than 10 people on the line? Just in case there is a crowd. What if a group of 10 people come together and they're standing outside and we're trying to organize them in an efficient manner? Could we maybe make a stipulation not to exceed 10? Because that would be a very small group, but it would allow us to organize people in a much more efficient manner. Could I get you guys to agree to that?
The problem with wait lines is if you are full and it's going to be half hour before people leave, those 10 people are causing an annoyance. So we really don't want them.
You're okay. So the idea is they're going to be screaming, they're going to be loud on the street while they're waiting to get in. That's the issue.
They're often drinking beforehand, so even when their conversations are really loud.
Yeah.
They're indoor bar voices, even though they're outside.
Okay. Well, maybe that's something in a year if I show that I'm a proper actor here. If I would now want to make sure that if it makes more sense, it's efficiency and even with sound, maybe we can revisit that in a couple of years, maybe.
It can always be revisited.
Okay.
There's no guarantee or comments on what would be thought of at that point, but you always have the right to come back.
Okay. All right.
And much more favorable if you've been operating successfully with no complaints, so.
Right.
So I think we are going to check off no wait lines then. I will conspicuously post a stipulation by your liquor license and residents may contact you at the number below.
Yep, exactly. That's my number. No, it's miswritten. It's 917-658-8941.
8941, okay. Thanks. I think I remember seeing that and it was very blurry on the application, so that was my fault. Okay. So that being said, do you agree with everything we've just gone through with the stipulations?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Michelle has her hand up. Michelle, we're going to promote you and give you 30 seconds just because I'm going to give you one more comment. So. Okay, Michelle, I think you are in the meeting. Michelle?
And just allow her to talk also.
You hear me now?
Yes.
I'll make a Verizon commercial. Okay. There are a lot of people who live in this area. This is an area where you should really do a traffic study of the intersection because it's always nuts. And to add more vehicles that are coming to drop people off and pick them up is just going to be really disastrous. I want you to know that. I want CB3 to do a traffic study of the area, and I want it to be known that also that acoustic and amplified are not the same thing. It's one or the other. You know, you can't have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And the fact that this is, you cannot move people around on a sidewalk. You can only do so much. You're not allowed to, no security personnel is allowed to change somebody and say, walk over here, walk over there. So they're going to walk around the block. There's going to be crime.
Thank you. Thank you.
And hanging out. And that's what's going to happen.
Yes, and that's what he said he will address. He will add staff if he needs to, and that's, so other than that, we're gonna move on, Michelle. I just wanted to give you one last comment, but thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so Matthew, you have heard the issue, and I do agree with Michelle. I've been through that intersection. It is crazy. So you're agreeing that if the crowd's on the street, that you're going to add staff to make sure that you're doing your best to move people along.
Absolutely.
Okay, and as you've heard, the nearby residents will be watching you, so we will hear from them if it's an issue, I'm sure. Okay.
They will call me.
And they have your number and will call you, so. Okay, so do we have a motion for this item?
Yes, let's pass it.
Sarah,
Take a motion.
Sarah motions to approve the stipulations just read. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
David seconds.
Great.
We are going to move to a vote. Sarah Batchou?
Yes.
David Crane?
Yes.
Clint Smeltzer, yes. John Faust?
Yes.
Motion passes. Michael, we will send over the stipulations in the next day or so. You know the drill, get them notarized and back to the office.
Yes,
Okay, thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Is that the last of our business?
Good luck.
Well,
Now we have one more vote.
just to make sure, go back to the attendees. Has anyone here for item, it was number 3, which was 3 times 90 Inc. from 9096 Clinton. Is there any applicant here for that item? Please raise your Zoom hand. If not, we are going to need to make a motion to deny. Okay, I make a motion that we deny item number 3, 3 times 90 to 96 Clinton for non-appearance.
Second.
Seconded by John, David, Sarah, yes, Clint, yes, John, yes. Okay. That being said,
Can we bring up item number 8 again, just so that I can double check things, because Susan and I were yammering on about it, and I think that I did misunderstand that it was just, if it was just a year that was a concern, can we bring up the text?
oh, I
Item
know what you're
number
talking about. You're talking about the amendment of,
Yeah, because in 2022, it was brought down from midnight to 10 PM by DO.
At request of the police.
And then, and then in 2023, we said continue that. So those were 2 different years.
Okay.
That was the only change.
so
Well,
share this. Do
It wasn't on 2023.
you want me to share it or just read it to you? I can.
Yes, please share it so we can see it.
In 2023, DOT approved 11 o'clock closing, and we had to change to 10. So in 2022, it was changed from 12 to 10. In 2023, it was changed from 11
I
to
think
10.
what I had originally written is that we asked for it to remain at 10. which is-
Okay, so this is,
Well, I don't know what you mean by.
this is what it
Ask for it to change.
let's say that.
You're correct.
Can we
but
see
it
what it
was
says
11
there?
o'clock.
Let's just hammer out the language
So
there.
it says, whereas 123 St. Mark's is located in an oversaturated area, the 9th precinct had the 2022 open street program for the block of St. Mark's changed from midnight closure to 10 p.m. closure because of high levels of crime in the block on weekends after 10 p.m. CB3 helped asked DOT to keep the 10 p.m. closure for the 2023 season.
That's correct, but it's not complete. Because what we did is we asked them to change it specifically from 11 to 10.
To keep to change their proposal to make it, okay.
Well, it was already approved. We didn't ask them to change the proposal. DOT approved it in
So,
2023 for 11.
Is this correct in leaving it, or what do you want it to say?
And we changed it to 10.
So the
to
ninth,
close at 10 p.m. Or I think it's fine the way it is. Now I'm reading it. I don't know why we were discussing it.
Okay.
Because this is what the community.
So that's
do.
correct, and that's what.
That's what correct. Yeah.
So we're gonna leave it with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Did it say because of crime? We had it changed because of crime in 2023?
Yes, it says, had the 2022 Open Streets program for the block of St. Mark changed from midnight closure to 10 p.m. because of high levels of crime in the block on weekends after 10 p.m. CD3 asked DOT to keep the 10 p.m. closure for the 2023 season.
For the same reason. We
Well,
that.
Yeah, so we should put, because it was approved. I think the fact that it was already approved and we had to change it approved times is significant.
But I mean, we're saying change.
All right, so DOT
to,
we and CD3 asked DOT to
change the approved time.
Can I please change from 11 p.m. closure to 10 p.m. closure?
Where
So
is it?
instead of saying to keep, say to change from an 11 p.m. closure to a 10 p.m. closure.
He's giving you the word.
So you're saying ask DOT to change
from 11 p.m. closure to 10 p.m. closure.
I would say again with
For the same
because of
reason.
NYPD
For the same
crime statistics.
Taken on to 10 p.m. closure.
For the same reasons.
For the 2023 season, for the same reason. Okay, either way, either for, yep,
But when, I mean.
For the same reason.
So I'm only playing devil's advocate because I'm reading this. Where do we ever say it was 11 p.m.? We say we ask.
These are 2 different years. In 1 year, it started with midnight and the police said change it to 10 p.m. In the next year, they started with 11 and CD3 said please change it.
Yes.
So the point is, there's problems on the block after 10 p.m. In that particular area.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And when we changed it, the police actually submitted pages of crime stats.
Yeah.
Which is.
I think that's clear. I'm fine leaving it this way. I think it's a little less clear in all honesty, but I'm fine leaving it.
Since we brought it up, but either way, but anyway, we're amending something that was previously adopted. Does anyone object to having done that?
Oh, this is horrible.
So the other word is, I've written the word public benefit, but then afterwards I was running into public interest a lot. Should it be public interest or public benefit? Down in here, if you search for the word benefit, does it make a difference?
It does, because beer wine has some kind of interest. They use it used for other stuff.
So benefit is the right word.
Benefit is the
We
right
have not
word.
been consistent.
Yes, you're saying because it does not show public benefit, so that's correct here.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Are you gonna talk about the training at all?
I was gonna mention it just quickly.
You don't wanna give like what you're looking at, so.
I didn't bring that. We talked about that and I didn't do that.
I'm gonna send it.
I can do that. So we are proposing a SLA training for us, but also for the full board. It's part of the trainings that I think have been mentioned several times. It's going to be very similar to the training we had at the end of the meeting. I think it was September. Susan gave an overview of what happens when an application comes in. I gave a little bit more of an overview of what happens, what we do with an application, how it goes through. It's not going to get into, this is something down the road, it's not going to get into the CB3 guidance on how we handle SLA. This is specifically what happens with an application and what we review at the meetings. So I will send out, Susan and I went through a rough outline. We need to kind of put some more details in, and then I will send that around within the next week or so probably, and we can all take a look at that, and I welcome any input.
Do you think there should be mention though of, you know, the board recommendations are made with, taking into account what the SLA is going to, what they will or will not approve.
Yes, and I think that was discussed. I'm gonna go back and actually read my notes, go watch the video from the previous time, but I think that was touched on, but we didn't go deep.
Because people clearly, that's one of the biggest things people
Yes.
don't understand. Why
Yes.
are you giving out all these licenses?
Yes. Okay,
Are you still recording?
it's still recording, so I'm going
I'm
to.
gonna wait till you have to
Yeah,
use.
okay, so that being said, we're gonna make a motion to adjourn. David Crane.
Yes.
Sarah Batchu.
Yes.
Clint Smeltzer, yes. John Powell. Okay, meeting is adjourned. I'm going to. Sure. Stop.
Okay, can I